Hey, Rocky, nothing up my sleeve. Because I don't have any. Hey, welcome to this evening's episode. We've got Brad coming in. Hey, buddy, what's going on, man?
Drew, that was friggin' excellent, man. Like, I know that we've been talking about John doing like George Washington impressions, but I think you can do John impressions and kind of make a swift little living, on that.
Oh, yeah. So, anybody in the chat yet? No.
All right, Jim.
Hey, Jim, What's up, buddy? So, we've got a guest today.
Yes. Now, it's the fabulous Jay Hart. Jay was on Mouthwash a couple months ago. When was the convention? It was Father's Day weekend. So it was right before then. Mouthwash had an all-Republican panel, which kind of bummed me out because I had so many questions for all of them. And Jay was one of the best panelists. He really kind of he went to bat for Diego, and I'm really kind of looking forward to getting his input on Max and the post convention Republican Party. Well, because and I don't know, Drew, if you are still on board with Lori Schillings. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Who's that?
She was a candidate, or she is a candidate for one of the non-major parties. And I believe that she was endorsed by people on this show at one point in time. But I don't know if that's still the case.
Very possibly. Very possibly, yes. I know who she is.
Okay. But, is she still going to be standing in the way of Max, or do you think that, people will shift from her and move to Evan or Bo Bai, I guess? Or Ballard.
Lori is probably going to get between 3 and 3.5% is what she'll probably get. So I have no doubt that the Libertarians will maintain their ballot access. As far as challenging Bai or Ingling or those two, not really, because the people that vote for pretty much Ingling crowd, they're not into what Lori believes in. So I don't think that she's going to really make much of a difference in the race. Wart in the house. There we go.
Oh, we got witty reviews. I want to thank Chris Bilbrey last week for sharing the.
Yeah, thank you, Chris.
Well, and for making that picture of Witty. That just had his face with his little headphones on and his mean face, because it's like, he's a sweet guy. All right, yeah.
Sweet and cuddly guy.
Yep,
Sweet and cuddly guy. Thank you, indie reporter.
I don't know how people, just don't argue with him and chuckle every time. It's just always a good time with him. So, well, Drew, I did want to kind of get into our new attorney general.
Blanche, get the Golden Girls music ready. Wasn't that a Golden Girls Blanche?
Friend.
Yeah,
she was
You got it queued up?
No, I just thought I'd do it a cappella. You gotta give me a beat, and then we'd be like, no, but she was kind of the loose one, as I recall, right? That's or the one that was the popular one among the senior home, I would believe, right?
Yeah,
Blanche.
I believe so.
See, I can't remember that show a lot, but
so the actress that played Blanche was Rue McClanahan.
Yeah. Ooh, Rue. Who the hell names? I don't know. She was from the South, I think.
Yes.
All right.
So anyway, this guy.
Yes. He's our new attorney general. Did you hear when they voted him in?
No. For how long? Is it temporary?
No. They confirmed him. Like it was 50-49 because McConnell wasn't there, I think, or something like that. But either way, a Republican senator, I think it was Bill Cassidy. He's the one who actually got into an argument with Trump like a couple weeks ago. He was like the deciding vote, and he voted to confirm Blanche. And his argument is basically like, well, it could be worse. We at least we know with Blanche what we got. And it's like Blanche gave Trump a basically a pardon from all audits. He's immune. He is the one who did the 1776
all right, Brad.
anti-weaponization fund.
Good for you. Wow. You get to bring that up.
Oh, yeah, of course I get to bring that up. Of course. It's all, come on.
It's all tied together.
It does. How is it not? How does it not all tie together? And I'm sure Tommy, if you look really close on this, I'm sure you can find some FBI agents that were called out to respond to the riot and whatnot. Probably not a whole bunch of plants, but I mean, if you look really hard, I don't know what I'll probably be surprised. So this was one of my favorite ones. Was your flagpole damage from beating a police officer on January 6th? You may be entitled to compensation from the 1.8 billion, the little slush fund. Drew, do you think this is unfair at all? Or I mean, like, do you think these attacks that I'm making on
yes, I do.
The January 6th?
Yes, I do. Absolutely. I think that I think that there were quite a few instigators within that crowd that may have been purposely told to go overboard from the people that I know that were there. My friends don't do that sort of thing. My friends don't destroy property. My friends don't. And I mean, our guest tonight will perfect example. He can answer some of these questions for us. But yeah, this little cute little meme you got there, Brad. Yeah, I kind of think it's bullshit.
But
because,
I mean, like,
because you know what? There were a lot of people. There were a lot of people that did break the law on January 6th. And I think that those people should be punished. But there were also people that were harassed, bothered, taken to court. And those people do deserve to be compensated if their constitutional rights were violated. And that might be a Fourth Amendment. Just being there, you can't prosecute someone for being there. And when they're combing through these people's lives just because they were there. Yes, absolutely. Those people deserve to be compensated. 100%. Now, if somebody committed a crime like that one dude who dropped a deuce on Pelosi's desk, yeah, punish him. I mean, seriously.
Well,
that's disgusting. That's rude. And it's
to be fair, I don't think anybody took a dump on Pelosi. Like, that's like
they should have.
Well, no, they smeared feces on the wall.
Okay,
and
that's
not to say,
disgusting.
and then with Pelosi, there was like somebody like stole her podium and like walked out with it, taking a picture like that. Okay, let's take that guy for instance, like case by case basis. Okay, do you remember the picture of the guy that took Pelosi's podium?
Yes.
And he was just walking out, like waving.
Yes.
Okay,
that's theft, and trespassing.
Okay. And trespassing. So like even the trespassing.
I mean, no, there were guards that were opening the ropes for these people. That is not trespassing. When you walk on there to steal, I'm going to throw a trespassing charge on there too.
Do you think the guards had any right in like the stand your ground kind of mentality of should they've used? I mean, they used lethal force when it came to Ashley Babbitt. Was that like a last resort, do you think? Or, I mean, like, I feel like a lot of people keep saying, Well, because I feel like they get there's an argument made that, oh well, the police let people in, and I don't know if that was more of like the police just lost control of situations because of the amount of people, and there were just surges. Crowds are, and again, like there might have been agitators in the crowd, and I don't
Might
know
have
what
been,
side.
might have been.
But
It's documented. It's documented that 247 FBI agents were within the crowd instigating. Somebody dropped. Somebody
I thought
dropped
those were
that
the
in.
ones that were called into action after the riot had begun.
No, there were. It's on record that there were FBI agents in the crowd.
Okay. Well, and I see Tommy Ice. Yeah, 247 dressed as Trump supporters. Well, I mean, wouldn't all of those have been arrested by Kash Patel at this point?
Who's
Or
he
like,
arrested so far? Who's he
I mean,
arrested so far? Kash Patel is. I mean, come on, he's been a disappointment. That dude's been a
well,
complete disappointment.
but that's what I mean, though. It's like if the right is in charge of the FBI now as well, how is any of that conspiracy still?
I Now I might be going out on a limb here, but these people were installed by previous administrations that were deep state, and there's still some congressmen that are, obviously you look at the amount of people that are APAC sponsored. Um, there's interests within our government that don't have our best interest in mind. Does that make sense?
Yes.
They're
And Ducky in the chat, thank you. Yeah. Well, and so is it a right or a left thing anymore? With they're all a massive disappointment. And
Oh
again,
no, it's a right against wrong thing.
and it should be neutral. Yeah, I agree too.
Yes,
Jimmy.
absolutely, 100%. 100% it should be neutral, but it's not a right against left, it's a right against wrong. I mean, if you think about it, look,
but I mean, are you saying that the left is wrong in this? Is this like
no, I'm saying that the government is wrong in this. They tried to divide us. They tried to divide us by making it a right versus left thing. But when in reality it's a right, we are all right. And the government, they won't even prosecute the pedophiles. They won't prosecute people who are Trump's friends. If they start arresting people, won't it hurt his friends? Isn't that what he said?
Yeah. I mean, Trump is worried about, well, and even Mike Johnson said if Trump is voted out of office, every one of us, or a lot of people in this room, are going to be arrested. And that's never anything an innocent person says, right?
Yes,
like, I've never had to say that in my head, like, at all.
Tommy has a good point here.
No, and that's where I think she admits responsibility. Like, every time it talks about her admitting responsibility, like, I think she
the deep
grasps
state. That's the deep state working against the people.
No, I think she grasps the fact that, like, yeah, there's a lot of steps that could have been taken to stop this kind of from happening. But
Luke in the house.
Oh yeah,
Luke's in the house.
But that's what I mean. Like, there should have been more security. There should have been more things on duty. I don't know why there wasn't. I guess I was surprised at how quickly everybody built the gallows. Like, how the hell does that happen that quickly? Or did they just, was it a makeshift from the inaugural stuff?
I don't know.
Because do you remember the Hang Mike Pence? Like, how many thousands of people were chanting Hang Mike Pence? Do you think?
Well, quite a few.
Okay. I mean, if we were to elaborate on that, it sounds like they're condoning lynching the vice president of the United States.
Um,
And these are the people that want to be reimbursed for being weaponized against.
well, first of all,
And again, it's not everybody in the crowd. It's
right. No, but what if a crowd simultaneously chants "Hang Mike Pence"? Isn't that just a group of people exercising their First Amendment rights?
It is.
So they've done nothing wrong by doing that, have they?
Well, actually, I don't no, because isn't that what if they end up actually lynching and hanging Mike Pence?
Well,
Wouldn't that be a mob mentality kind of case where it's it's my whole issue on this is I feel like Trump rattled up a dog and then just let it go, and it started barking and attacking, or just nipping, and it's just come on, why did you do that? What did you think was going to happen? You gave him no outlet afterwards. You're like, send him off to the Capitol. They'll figure it out after that.
I mean, the ones that were chanting "Hang Mike Pence," they were exercising their First Amendment rights, and they were assembling. That's a constitutional right as well. Traveling to the Capitol, I believe that would be the fourth, right? Free.
Yes.
So they were doing nothing but exercising their rights. Now, the moment somebody vandalized, that's when there's a problem, and those people should be held accountable.
But then how many people didn't stop at that point, though? And I mean...
Meaning what?
Well, once you vandalize something, once you basically break in is what they did.
Okay, so... Well,
and I just mean they entered through windows first.
Those people,
and then doors.
Yeah, you know what? Nobody should ever enter through a window. They should come in through the door and sign in.
Well, I just mean
and be documented.
Yeah, if you enter the U.S. Capitol, it's you don't see a house that's broken into and then walk into it, right?
I mean, that's a slippery slope, man, because you did see the videos of the police opening up the ropes where people could go through. So if somebody didn't know any better and then they see an officer of the law opening the ropes for them, they're not, they're good, man. In my book, if the police are opening the ropes so they can go check stuff out, yeah, absolutely, Luke. The originators of the violence need to be held accountable. So that would be the people who committed committed acts of violence.
Yeah. Well, and
I like his wording there, though. The originators.
Me too. The originators of violence, that should be
Are you going to twist that into something about Trump, Brad?
No, the originators of the, because again, it doesn't matter if Trump tells people what to do. It's those people still had a choice within themselves. Hey,
yes,
I can, I might be thinking, oh, well, this guy really wants me to punch through this window and take back my country. But, at that point, I've lost myself if I'm thinking that, I think. So that's still on that person. And that person should have been charged. But that person was also pardoned earlier this year, right?
Don't throw that out there. Who was it?
All of them were pardoned.
No, well, you're telling me somebody that broke glass, that broke a window, was pardoned. Now, if you're going to throw out something like that, you need to tell me who it was. Or are you just making that up?
No, I'm saying that they were all pardoned by President Trump.
But you said something about breaking a window, Brad.
Yeah, I'm just saying the guy
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know who broke a window, who vandalized, because breaking a window is vandalizing something, correct? So I want to know which vandal was pardoned.
Okay. Well, there was the guy that got pardoned that was shot by the state trooper in Indiana.
Yes, after he was pardoned. So what's your point?
Oh, actually, no. Wait, that was before the pardon? That was
No, it wasn't. I know what you're talking about. It was after the pardon. Has nothing to do with the pardon.
no, and that's good. I mean, like that's what I felt like
They
too.
used
Like,
it. They used it as an example of the type of people that were pardoned. They tried to make a big spectacle of that. The dude, I think it was somewhere in northern Indiana.
Yeah.
And I want to know why wasn't Ray Epps ever charged or questioned on public record?
Let me see. Ray Epps was charged by federal prosecutors, pleaded guilty, and was sentenced in 24 to 1 year of probation.
He was never pardoned or even sentenced, according to Tommy. Huh. I didn't think he was, actually. I'm wrong there. Totally wrong. Totally wrong. Well, we got about 10 minutes before our guest will be here. He might even be backstage.
Wait, and Jim, wait, no. What was my thing that I switched topics on? Like, I didn't switch topics, did I? Like, we've been talking about January 6th.
But maybe you did. You do that stuff, Brad.
I know I'm a crafty. I'm a crafty.
If you're losing an argument, you change the subject. That is typical of you folks on the left.
It is, and I'm sorry. Like it's not that. I think it's an honest ADD thing, and I'll apologize up front. You know, I got the blue mouthwash. Hey,
I got the red one.
We're on the team mouthwash. So yeah, that is my bad, Jim. Yeah, like with the Indiana police. And there's nothing wrong with the Indiana police. Like, I love the state police. Like, I have friends who work for them. I teach my kids, hey, police are, officer friendly kind of people. You go to them for assistance. And so that's a big issue that I have with, the meme that Drew didn't like a little while ago.
Which one was that? Yeah.
It was this one. Because there were officers that were attacked.
Yeah. And and hopefully those people that attacked the officers were punished to the full extent of the law.
But now, then
if you can show me an example, if you can show me an example of somebody who committed battery on an officer, then I will be like, wow, that shouldn't have happened. I was wrong. But I think it was specific about people. It was nonviolent offenses. Like, it was probably the trespassing. It was probably the trespassing charge, actually, most of it. Are you looking, Brad?
Yep. Well, because I just don't. I thought that was part of the issue was that. What's his nuts? The vice president. Who's the guy with the beard? That's him. He wanted more of to go through it with a fine-tooth comb and find people who,
actually did something wrong.
Yeah. And I guess that President Trump just did a blanket one.
Do you have a source for this, man?
I love that you
asked for sources. There you go again, Brad. There you go again.
Drew,
now, I can't honestly think
like
how anybody would pardon.
I miss Mark because you that was the whole argument
there he
that
is.
Would make against you.
There he is. Many of you want names, Drew. That involves research. When you start to research and cite facts, what kind of? Oh, thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well, Brad, read what he said, Brad. If you start citing things, you need to be able to prove what you're saying. Now, I give opinions on a lot of things, but if I'm going to cite facts, I'm going to cite facts. Now, what you were doing earlier was you were just throwing out blanket statements. Now, I believe they did go through and only pardon people that were charged with nonviolent offenses. Now, if somebody broke something, broke a window, battery on an officer, those people should not be pardoned. Period. That if you, I mean, but if you just walked into the Capitol, those are the people I believe that were pardoned. Show me something different. Mark.
On January 20th, he granted pardons and commutation of sentences. For granted blanket clemency to all people, nearly 1,600 of them.
And 1,600 of people that were charged with what?
With varying degrees.
Does it say people were granted pardons for battery? Does it say that in the article?
Hang on.
Because there were a lot of people there, and 1,500 seems. I mean,
well, and that's the amount. No, and that's what we talked about earlier. Was that it wasn't. It wasn't the majority of the crowd, and that's the issue that I like talking about too. Is that it's not everyone who went there. So I'm sure that a lot of people know people who went to this thing that didn't involve themselves in illegal things and still feel like they have like that black mark against them. And I mean, they didn't do anything illegal, but those 1,500, like they did, whether it was trespass or whatever, I guess. But Jay is actually in the background. So let's
Luke did some research. Okay, I'm wrong. The people who committed violence should not have been pardoned. They shouldn't have been. I was wrong. That was 100% bad.
Thank you, Luke.
I fully admit I was wrong. Fully.
Oh man, we're clipping that too. Let's all right, with no further ado, let's bring Jay Hart out here.
Hello.
Jay, how's it going, man?
Hey guys, this evening.
Fantastic. I love your hat. It was you wore that on Mouthwash, I think, when you were on, and made me laugh.
Just being honest. Just trying to be honest.
See, okay, and that was from Google AI though, Drew.
Okay.
Well, but then Ducky in the chat says, they don't trust Google either. And honestly, like when we're at this point in society, yeah, this is why we don't agree, because nobody trusts anything ever, ever again. So, Jay, yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for coming on, man.
Right on. Love you guys. I just caught. I hadn't seen. I don't know what I missed in the program. I just caught the last few moments of the discussion, and I already disagree.
No, fantastic. And I told Drew before the show started, I come at January 6th from a very I remember kind of following the Trump on Twitter, and you can kind of see things just rolling along, and January 6th was going to be, he kept kind of pumping it up, and then all of a sudden it happened, and I'm like, how did, I was mad that if Pelosi could have called in more security, yeah, she should have. There should have been a lot more crowd control almost, I feel like, but there wasn't. And I don't blame all the people that went.
Well, I think a lot of people went for different reasons. I think there are some people who went because they're just sort of blindly loyal to Donald Trump. And I think there are other people who went because they know that an election was hijacked, whether it was, I think there's just an overwhelming amount of evidence, if we just look at what our deep state, what they were doing to collude with just social media platforms, that's enough. That's enough to say now whether or not Donald Trump had the votes or didn't have the votes. I think that's up for debate, but I think it's obvious that COVID was designed to do this. But I think it's obvious that COVID was certainly, they didn't let in the words of Rahm Emanuel, they didn't let a good disaster go to waste. And I think that, for me personally, I didn't go to Washington, D.C. for Donald Trump. And there were even times where I said I did, but that was just to irritate some folks over on your side, Brad. But I did not go to D.C. for Donald Trump. I was already mad at Donald Trump by then. I was furious at Donald Trump long before January 6th. I started seeing some of the plays that he was making, and I think he was starting to deal with some of the globalists that some people call it the foreign lobby, some people call it the asset managers. It's all of that. And I think that you could kind of see that he was trying to deal at the end. I think he knew, if you look back at that election around August, September, especially, he started getting really frustrated and angry because I think he knew that he had been had. I think he knew that they were going to get him out. And I come at this from a perspective of, I think both sides. I don't think there are two sides. I don't think there are Democrats and Republicans. I think there's just a large group of people that are all under the umbrella of a very small handful of people who are truly in control of most of the world. And I think they were in control of the White House. I think Donald Trump snuck up on him in 2016. I think he won, and they weren't ready for that. They weren't prepared to pull the kind of cheating that they wish they could have in 2016. But I think they used that 4 years to prepare for 2020, and they concocted this great pandemic, and they used it they used it to get him out of office because he wasn't willing to deal with them. I think he tried to bargain a little bit here and there. I think he was naive.
Trump could have knocked COVID out of the park, though. Like,
he could have. He could have probably not going along with it at all.
No, but that's what I mean. Like that's what worried me when I saw Trump during COVID was that, like, if you just saw it as a global emergency, whatever it was, like whether it was a pandemic, and then I started thinking, well, what would Trump's response have been if it was a war, if it was something like a global flood, something else that would require him to be a leader of some kind? Like,
his response
he totally failed.
Well, his response was to give trillions of dollars to the people who created this pandemic, and he knew that they were in charge. He knew it, and that, to me, I saw that as him begging to stay. I think he said, okay, I'll give you your money, because he hadn't for 4 years. For 4 years, he had done a lot of things that would make, let's just say there's a small group of people who are in charge of BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, most countries in the world, most natural resources in the world outside of North Korea, Iran, Russia, China. Let's say there's one small group of people in charge of all of that.
Do they wear hats like that?
And he was, well, I don't know. I just believe there's a small group of people who are in charge. I do think it includes people like Larry Fink and Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff and folks like that. And I think Donald Trump knew that. And I think he knew he was had. And he said, okay, mercy, I'll deal with you. Let me just write this check for trillions and trillions of dollars, and then we can have a relationship. I think they had moved so far into getting him out of office that they couldn't back it up at that point. And I really believe that January 6th, he wanted to show them, and he said, hey, let's get everybody to come to Washington and let's reverse this cheat. Let's reverse it. And when he saw that, I think there was about 1 million people there. I'm very familiar with the Indianapolis 500. Spent a lot of time there. My shop was there for many years. And I know what 500,000 people looks like. I think there was about 1 million. If I had to guess, I'd say about 1 million people. And he got everybody to come, but it just wasn't really that much. And whatever people think about January 6th, it obviously wasn't enough to do anything. I mean, it obviously, it wasn't
numbers wise. You said if there was 1 million people there and only 1,500 were arrested for federal crimes, that's a very, very, very small percentage of everybody that did go there.
Yeah, but keep in mind, they were still arresting people. And they had even said that they were starting to reach out to, they started with the people who were basically in the building and breaking things. That's where they started.
Good.
And then they went to people. Then they went to people who are just in the building, and they would have eventually, because they have the geofencing for all of that. They know every single person who was there. They know everywhere those people were. They know
that's not terrifying at all, is it? Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they know that where we're at now. They certainly knew that there. So they would have gotten to kind of everyone, and they needed that response, I think, to get through, to pump up Joe Biden. I mean, clearly Joe Biden wasn't really in charge of
pump up Joe Biden, like.
But they were. I'm saying
that as a Democrat. I'm sorry. Like, there was no, like, whenever anyone says like, oh well, Biden didn't do anything all summer. I'm like, he didn't have to. Like, there was no energy behind Biden because all the energy was behind, like, look at Trump, messing up COVID, and in like the summer of 20, like there was so many, like, that was just the weirdest summer of all time. And he was in charge, like, and every time he would talk about ratings on his little COVID press briefings, like,
he should have ignored the whole thing. He should have totally ignored it. He should have totally ignored it. That's what should have happened.
He should not have spoken as much as he did.
He should have just ignored the whole thing. That's what a lot of real conservative people, real constitutional people, constitutionalists, they wanted him to ignore the whole thing, leave it alone, because none of us bought into it, none of us believed it, none of us got the jab, none of us did anything. We went about our lives, except for where we weren't allowed to go about our lives, except for where we were, forced at nearly gunpoint not to visit Menards without a mask.
Jay, I'm on my 8th booster though, man. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know. And Trump is still out pushing this vaccine, which is just mind blowing to me. That his the people who are still following Donald Trump, imbeciles. Can I say that on your show? They're imbeciles.
Absolutely. Like,
you can say whatever you want, man.
Dude, but honestly, those are fighting words. That's like something a gentleman says when he's about to duel.
No, because I'm not going to duel with a bunch of boomers, those poor guys. But these guys are still, they pretend to be these like anti, deep staters or anti, establishment of anything kind of people, but none of them are pointing out the fact that he's still pushing this crap now. He's still pushing it.
Yeah. Well, and when do you think it would end?
When do you
think he's ever going to admit that he's...
No. Has he ever admitted that he was wrong about anything ever?
No. He said the other day that he thinks he should get an A+ on the economy.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
whose economy? Whose economy?
His. Have you seen this? Have you seen the stock market?
Have you seen the stock market?
You're welcome.
Yeah, I've seen.
What else to tell you?
Yeah, I've seen the stock market. The average American has about $96,000 in that market. Like, what it hasn't. It could do 5 times better than what it's doing right now, and it probably wouldn't even cover the increase in fuel, let alone all of the other inflationary costs across the board. Like, these people that talk about the stock market crack me up. I'm like, how much do you have in it? Like, I mean, I know people who have a lot of money in it. Like, it's over 50. Yeah, exactly.
No, and you remember Pam Bondi? Pam Bondi saying that at her
Blondie.
Such a joke.
Not answering questions, just being like, "Have you thanked President Trump?" It's like, go f yourself, God. Yeah. Are you serious?
Like, back to January 6th. I went to January 6th with a guy who was, he went there because he is a blind follower of Donald Trump. And I'm like, that's just not who I am. I wasn't there for that. I was there literally, and I'm not, look, from a guy who just can't stand protesters, really, it was really, part of it was a protest for me. I was like, I'll try this shit once. And then the other thing was, I just wanted to see it. I'm like, I wonder what it's going to be like. And honestly, I knew on the way over that it was going to be bigger than I originally thought it was, because on the highway going to DC, the highway was packed full of like people holding American flags out their windows, and like you could just see them everywhere. And I knew this was going to be a big deal. And the reason I know that, like, the CIA, like the government lied to us about the attendance, because they knew every hotel was sold out. They knew that. They knew that every flight was sold out. They knew that. There's been tons of events in DC, so they know that there was probably more people there. There's more people there than any time I've ever seen anything. Like,
that's what I mean. Like, tell me about that day, because like I love events, but I hate people to an extent. Like that seemed like a huge amount. So like, what was
very
even
different group.
like? What was even like just the organization of the
very
day?
Different group of people. There were so many different people there. There were people there who were, I think they just wanted to go party. Like literally, they wanted to party. They were there to drink beer and yes, the government does lie about everything.
Ducky just dropping pearls here.
Yeah, they were there to. Some folks were there to drink beer. Some folks were there to support Donald Trump because they love Donald Trump, and that's the team they chose, and that's the team they chose to put the sequin name on the.
Man, you nailed it. The team.
Yeah, and then, it's a team. It's just like it doesn't matter how worthless the team is. I mean, that's their team.
Don't you gotta root for them? You know, you gotta. Yeah. Even if they suck. Even if they suck so bad.
Yeah. You know, I was a Cowboys fan most of my life. I know what it's like to have a shitty team. But
but Jerry Jones is cool. Jones is cool.
But then there's
I bet Jay hates him.
So, you know, I think there were people who were there because they knew something bad had happened in this country, something worse than anything that had ever happened before that we knew of. I think people knew that it was I think we knew. We couldn't tell you exactly what. We knew something really, really terrible had happened in this country. And if you stayed at home and you just went to work and you ignored it, like 329 million people did, if you did that, then you were conceding the sovereignty of this nation. I truly felt that in my heart. I felt like every able-bodied person, every man, Republican, Democrat, or otherwise, should have been there and said, "Hey, something's not right." I mean, but when we talked about teams a minute ago, Democrats were at home spiking the ball, like, "Yeah, we got it." Like, and in reality, we all lost. We all lost because there certainly were crooked things. In fact, and I don't speak about this often, and I'm not going to point the blame at anyone. In fact, I've never even talked about it publicly. But in my own state representative race during that election, you know, our elections were delayed in Indiana. Our primary elections were delayed. And I know for a fact that there were people polling my race that believed I was ahead in that race a month before. But a month later, I lost. And if you look at it, and I challenge anybody to do this, you can go to Johnson County and pull up the results of this race, and you'll see that in the early in-person voting, I won by a small percent. In the day of in-person voting, I lost by a small percent. It was pretty tight. In-person voting was pretty tight. Do you know how much I lost by in the mail-in ballots? Well, I'm talking 60%.
You lost by 60%?
I think it was about 60%. It's been a long time since I looked at it, but it is. Think about this.
Like 60-40?
The in-person voting in the early voting and day of election of that primary, I lost by a very small. Well, I lost or won by a very small percent. The mail-in ballots, I lost by double digits. It was like 50 or 60%. It was a lot. And I'm not blaming the candidate that won, but I'm saying there are people who certainly did not want me to win. So
was that Peggy against Peggy?
Yeah. No, that was actually for Woody Burton's seat.
Okay.
With some other people, I don't even remember their name, and Michelle Davis. So
okay, that
was a race that I had everything. And to be honest, after the race, I you know, at the end of our election, I think things did get a little heated, but it wasn't a big deal. We maintained a friendship afterwards, and I was very close with Michelle and her family after that. I never said anything to anyone. I didn't blame Michelle. I didn't think Michelle had anything to do with it. But I do believe I do believe, however, that is pretty bad. That's pretty rough. I mean, like, and nobody ever investigated that. I didn't want anybody to investigate. I didn't say anything because I didn't want anybody going after Michelle. I didn't want anybody like saying, because I think she really had good intentions and she was going to, go down and do the best job she could do for conservatives. And, I just, but I always know that I'll always believe that if that race would have ended when it was supposed to end, I very possibly could have won. I think, without all these mail-in ballots, like it just seems a little crooked to me, and when I called, here was something interesting. I think what was happening, people say, well, what do you think happened, Jay? Well, what I believe happened was, I think just a lot of my ballots maybe got. So during the race,
we should invest more in the mail. Then is what I'm hearing.
During the race, I had a person, and we were on top of getting the list from the clerk's office. And when I said, hey, I want the ballot requests, and they were never very friendly to me in the clerk's office there. And oddly enough, the clerk of Johnson County is married to the deputy mayor of Greenwood, who hates my guts. Hates my guts. And so I had
they're ethically bound, though. They are ethically bound to, serve that office, right, Jay?
Ethics. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's no way they could break it, an ethical, promise.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Like, that's no,
So anyway, I think what was happening was, and all candidates ought to make sure this is happening. When I requested the ballots, so I'm doing the same thing that every candidate does. You get the information, you get your mailers together, you get them out right away. That way they get your mailer the same time they're getting the ballot. Because people who request ballots, a lot of them are older people. They don't let them sit on the table. They take it very serious. They fill that thing out and get it right back in. So you got to hurry up with those mailers. And it's really hard to keep up with all those, especially during COVID when there were tons of them. So I think what was happening was I had a neighbor said, hey, I got my ballot today and I got a mailer from the Davis campaign and this other campaign, but why didn't I get one from you? Why aren't you doing this? And I'm like, I am doing it. And then I went and I checked my list of what I had from the clerk's office, and this person's name wasn't even on it yet. I got that the next day. So he had already requested a ballot, received the ballot in the mail along with the other mailers, and I hadn't even gotten that yet. So I call the clerk's office. I say, hey, I think there's a problem here. I don't know what's going on, but I think you should send all candidates the same email. You should, and we should all get it at exactly the same time. And the clerk got all snappy with me. She was like, because you think I'm doing something bad or blah, blah, blah. I said, well, we'll know if you just send it to all of us, She said, well, I don't know what information you want. And I'm like, I want the same thing that every other candidate wants. We just want their address and their phone number. We want all the stuff. We all want the same thing. What do you mean? What do you think I want? You think I just want to know how many were requested? I'm not going to want to know, who it was and what their address is. Like, yeah, I want the same thing that everybody got. But so again, it's just, and nobody's ever, no one's ever really looked into that. I don't think there's much to look into. Personally, I think that maybe there were some ballots that were like, a little more scrutinized than others.
Oh, absolutely. But that's it too, is like, I think there's a lack of people wanting to get involved with local politics, and they just assume that somebody else is going to take care of it.
Yeah.
So,
and I think losing wasn't a big deal to me. I've lost plenty.
No, but that's it. It's like,
it wasn't a big deal to me.
Recognize the system though. Like, and it's like, just, that's what I love about, like, and I think Drew and I have talked about this, like, you got a solid head on your shoulders. I think Ducky in the chat was like, they even said, they're like, he gets it. Like, yeah,
Well,
freaking Jay.
Jay does get it.
You just, at this point, we have to, if we're really going to, and I don't have a lot of faith in this, but if we're going to really do anything in this country to save it, we have to forget about the wedge issues that we've all fought over for years, because that stuff doesn't matter if we don't have a country, and we don't have a country right now. We just don't have a country, and we can get back to fighting over whatever, gay marriage and abortion and all the other stuff, that we've always fought over. But it's clear to me that the parties, at least the people who are running them, these issues don't mean anything to them. These aren't real. Like with the Republican Party, you get Republicans that say, I had somebody tell me today, but Jay, if you don't vote Republican, what about the babies, Jay? Aren't you?
Like, what about the,
Republicans aren't for saving babies. And if they were, they wouldn't have let Donald Trump strip the National Republican platform of a national abortion ban. And he stripped that out of the platform. And they're like, well, the Supreme Court put it out to the state.
Yeah, but Roe versus Wade got overturned because of, there's. But let's be. There's been a lot of victories. I feel like
it's not a victory for babies because you get murdered in Illinois instead of Indiana. That's not a victory.
But there's that extra step that somebody has to take.
Well, sure, but that's not. If your goal is to save the life of children, it's to save the life.
It isn't though, and that's it. It's just to put stuff in the way to make you.
My point is. Yeah, but it's not gonna be. People are gonna go over there. There used to be days where places were closed here. They would take their girls over and get abortions in Illinois just for that reason. But the point that I'm making though is I don't want to argue about that right now, because it doesn't matter if we don't have a country. It doesn't matter. And right now we don't have a country. And so you know what, Brad, Jay, let's set that aside and let's focus on the idea that we can get back to that. We're not going to have a debate. There's not going to be a debate because we're not in charge of this country. We're not a sovereign nation right now because we have a small group of foreign lobbies that are making all of our important decisions. And, right now we've got Republicans and Democrats that are aligned on the biggest issues. They're aligned on the budget. They're aligned on foreign wars. They're aligned on all that stuff. So they're on the same team. They're all serving this one organization. And that's what's happening here. And we've got to stop that organization from being in control of our country, or Brad and Jay don't get to argue about whether or not it's a win. We don't get to argue.
Exactly. But Jay, I really think we need to team up. We need to dress up. I'm going to get a spear and we're going to go to Jim Banks's office.
I saw that guy out there, by the way.
And tell him. You did see this guy?
Yes, I saw him. Yeah, I saw the guy. He was there were, honestly, he's the famous one, but there were a lot of weird characters dressed up, all kinds of just complete.
Frogs.
In some cases, I even told the guy I was with, I was like, this is actually kind of gay pride-ish parade.
I loved how much you hated protesting. When you were like, oh God, yeah, I hate protests. And that is kind of something from the right too, where it's you guys really rail against any kind of the No King stuff and any sort of,
because it's worthless, really. It's really worthless.
And so when you guys do it though, I love that you even have that in the back of your head though, God, I'm doing the thing that I hate.
It's just stupid. I honestly, I didn't even realize until I was in Arlington in the hotel and I started seeing people who had signs. I'm like, this is a freaking protest. I didn't even realize that's what I was doing, was taking part in a protest. But that's what it was. It was a protest.
Well, so you were nowhere near these kind of environments then.
Oh yeah. I saw all that. Sure. Yeah, I saw. Well, here was the thing that a lot of people, if you weren't there, and there's a lot of footage from tons of people, most people are afraid to share it. Still today they are.
Because I would be too. And not even if I did anything wrong. It's one of those things somebody in the chat said, if they can pinpoint where you were based off of those photographs now, I think too.
Oh, sure. Yeah, everybody know where every single person was. But the thing that is, if you weren't there and you didn't really see a lot of the footage, so you see what the press shows, when you're walking down Pennsylvania Avenue and you're in a huge crowd of people and you approach the Capitol. So what nobody knew, if you're in the middle of that crowd, you don't know where the line is, where if you could or couldn't go. All you saw was a bunch of people going up the stairs, like on the backside anyway, where I'm at. You just saw a bunch of people going up the stairs and up on the rail and stuff, like people were yelling and stuff. And you saw people climbing up the wall. And if you only saw the people climbing up the wall, you'd be like, oh, wow, they're attacking the building. The reality was
like that.
Yeah. And the reality is those people thought they were going to get in, and they thought they just couldn't get in. And they wanted to make sure they were going to get in and see whatever the debate that was going to take place or whatever the screaming, whatever was going to happen, they wanted to see it. And so they were trying to get up there because you couldn't get up the stairs. It was so packed. But when you're approaching the Capitol, there was never a barricade like where I'd say like where you approach it. There was no barricades, especially in the back. You could have went straight through, right up the stairs, right inside the building and down. And there were certainly like police officers letting people in. I saw it with my own two eyes. I saw it. I saw people saying, like directing people to come this way. They may have been trying to like mitigate the crowd, like as far as like the problems of having a big crowd and being completely unprepared. I mean, obviously.
That's what I mean. Like how unprepared they were. I don't understand
because it was planned, because they wanted to stoke that flame, and they wanted they wanted the folks at home to say, it's okay that an election was stolen. It doesn't matter if it was stolen or not. They shouldn't be doing these things. And they wanted that.
But I mean, just because a bunch of Americans come to the U.S. Capitol doesn't mean that they're going to try to break into it.
Well, if you take a giant crowd of people like that, there's enough people in every crowd, certainly 1,500 in a million, that if you've planted people from our deep state, from our government, to encourage them to do it.
But where are the good people on the right telling those to stand down and like not?
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm sure there were.
Okay, if you look in the video that I showed you, where you see the guy coming out on the
he came out on the stretcher. Yeah,
it's not even a stretcher; it's actually it
was a makeshift one. It wasn't.
Yeah. So when they come out, there's everybody making an effort to get the guy out, but behind that, I don't have footage of this, but there's a man lift back there. Mechanical man lift,
Yeah.
And it was there because they were doing some kind of construction or maintenance on the building. Well, at some point, there were a couple people who got in that, and they fired it up and started like going up. And the whole crowd around them was pissed. Everybody was like, get down. That's not what we're here to do. I mean, there were a lot of people, including myself. And there was one guy who he basically said, you're going to get your ass beat. Like he was very, very angry that they were doing that. And there was a lot of that sort of happening everywhere. There was a guy over telling people, stop climbing up the wall. You're not going to get in anyway. There was a lot of that going on. I'll tell you what I saw when you're approaching the Capitol. I saw a whole string of like maybe 6 Capitol Police guys, and they were in riot gear. They had helmets on or whatnot. And they're all standing there. And this is very early. We were there pretty early, really early. And one of the guys in that lineup fired a purple smoke grenade, tear gas, out into the crowd. Now, I don't know if it was actual tear gas or if it was just,
like a smoke.
Just a smoke grenade, just trying to deter people.
But either way, it's like if you don't know, that's just going to cause.
Well, and here's what happened when he fired that. Somebody who was in charge was literally all the way at the other end of that line. And that guy ran down and told this guy, kind of started yelling at him. And then he said, let's go. And all of them left. They all left. Another guy came down, Capitol Police. He was a black guy, kind of a chubby, older black guy, comes down and he's walking through the crowd and he's crying. And I got up there and there was another lady there. And the lady said, that nobody here is mad at you. No one's here is mad at you. And he said, why did they do this to us? He wasn't talking about the crowd. He was talking about the politicians. He said, why did they do this to us? Why did they do this? He knew they were set up. He knew it. And he was holding his jacket. And he was, when the lady came to like hug him, they were hugging. He dropped his jacket. And when he walked off, he left it there on the sidewalk. Someone grabbed it and draped it over something. But he walked away. He just walked away. He just left. And he was like, clearly, that police officer knew he was set up. He was not mad at that crowd. He wasn't angry at all. He was you could tell this man felt totally trapped. And it really, and right at that same point is when the guys were in that man lift, and the crowd was really pissed because I think they realized, there are some people here that they are put in the middle of this, and it's not their fault. They were put in the middle of this thing, and I think that our government was willing to sacrifice those Capitol officers that day. I think they were willing to sacrifice those officers to create this kind of thing. They wanted this response. They wanted
nuts,
it.
Though.
No
like,
doubt.
Yeah,
I think they did. I think they wanted this.
But sacrificing them to what? Like an unruly, like
for their political gain.
But they didn't know that, like.
Oh, they knew it. They knew it a week ahead of time.
So then you know that the crowd will be violent.
I don't think it's about violence.
How is that not on the crowd?
Well, let me just tell you this. I'll tell you something in my personal life. I've been in the music business a long time. I've been very close to a lot of very popular musicians at festivals and different places. Those crowds that come there to see a show, they're not there to be violent. But the minute that you are overwhelmed by a crowd at all, it's frightening. It's frightening when you see thousands of people coming your way and they all want to get a piece of one human being that's standing behind you. And it can be very terrifying. And they're not violent, but you don't know if somebody's there that it's violent. It is very scary. And there's no police officer or there's no military person. There's nobody anywhere that could honestly say, "Oh no, I wouldn't be afraid." Yeah, you would.
No, and I think that's what you saw though in that line of officers. Like I don't think you saw unity. Like you saw unity, but it was very much like, "Oh shit, we don't know how to contain this." And it's going to get worse before it gets better.
I would say honestly, I didn't personally see anybody there that was being violent. I saw some people there who were being destructive, and I saw a giant crowd of people that was ready to kick the shit out of them if they did anything. Now, I can't speak for some of the very, and of course, there's very few of a million people.
That's what I'm like. It's a very, very small.
I see of people who were like maybe 3 videos of people that I see who were I think would be were acting in any sort of violent way. I saw a video on the way home. We were at a gas station and there was a girl there and she recognized me and said, "Hey, I saw you at the thing." And I said, "Yeah." And she had a big bruise on her cheek. Well, she showed me a video. She was in the Capitol, and she said they had us come in, and then she said a couple people that looked like military people grabbed her, and they didn't say, "Hey, you can't be in here, you can't whatever." After being invited into the building, there were these people coming at them and grabbing them and I don't even know what else, but she was there with her boyfriend. And so he, of course, is going to try to protect her. And so there were a lot of people there who were, if you saw the footage of them being violent or angry, those folks were lured into that. They were put in that situation who never intended to be violent or angry. I mean, there's tons of people who
No, and I think when you say that the officers are fearful because of just the numbers,
sheer numbers,
I do think they have that is a pretty natural fear.
I feel terrible for those officers that were there, but in all honesty, there should have been there should have been millions.
There should have been way more.
There should have been millions and millions more people there, in my opinion. There should have been millions more people there. There should be there today. Today. There should be millions and millions of people in Washington today demanding that we get our country back. Today. We should have that today.
Well, Jay, I just want to say, anytime that there's a kind of a protest or a rally at the State House, many people on the right will say, don't these people have jobs? Or, something along those lines where it'll just refute any kind of actual protest. So,
I think there's
not all protests.
But January 6th was on like a Wednesday.
I don't think it's a protest at the. People actually left their. Well, I left my.
That's what I mean. Like, it wasn't on a weekend. It wasn't some like.
Your job doesn't. To me, having a job and having to go to work was no excuse for that. It's still no excuse because it doesn't matter. Who cares if you have a job? You're not going to have a job for long. And what you're doing is you're saying, instead of going to Washington and fight the people who have enslaved me, I'm going to go to work for them at home. And that's what people were saying. That's what people were actually saying. I've never been a person that said like, well, Democrats are protesting. Don't they have a job? I just say Democrats are protesting.
I'm not saying you. I'm saying people who have listened to this show / messaged me and told me that these are clearly paid activists because
there are
nobody
some paid activists. Like the No Kings, Kings rally had some paid activists.
No, it doesn't. It's just,
I don't know if they're paid activists or not, but it's definitely the same people. One thing I noticed at the State House is that the same group of people who, and again, I don't even want to waste my time talking about because we have more important things to do, like save the country. But real quick on this subject about who's who at the State House, I don't know if they're paid or not, but it's the same group of people, whether it's people who want, second graders to be reading stories about sex, or if it's they don't want men and women's sports, or that they want teachers to make more money. It's the same group of people. I see them every time. I'm like, yep, you're the same people.
They live for that shit. They live for that shit. That is their job.
It's a small group. I'm not saying all of them either, Brad. I'm saying that.
No, I know. It's like the 1.5% that broke into the Capitol. It's not everybody.
No,
it's not everybody that went to the.
Well, it's a. I just don't think we have time to talk about those debates.
I totally agree. Like,
we really need right now. The message that is so important, and people ask me like, well, what are you going to do, Jay? I'm like, the only thing I can do, which is beg these young people who are going to be subject to the most horrifying future. And they have, and a lot of older folks have no idea what this country is facing. They really don't. Jim Banks put out the stupid video on Fox today. He's one of the most surprising, he's one of the most surprising. It surprised me that he's a liar as much as he is. He made a statement today on Fox. He said something about like, if we don't stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, they're going to have a nuclear weapon pointed at the United States.
Yep.
And our children. And our children.
Yeah.
He's so full of shit. He says that. And I'm like, Iran is like almost 8,000 miles away. It is not remotely possible that Iran could have a nuclear weapon pointed at the United States. Even if they did, we could shoot it down like easily, but why aren't we at war with Russia? They have better and more ICBMs than we have. Why aren't we doing that with Pakistan?
What about Saudi Arabia? Didn't they just get
why don't, but we're listening to this garbage. Like, what he's doing is trying to scare old people into believing this garbage. He knows better. He's not an idiot. He serves on the Armed Forces Committee. He's not dumb. He knows that this isn't possible. He knows this is all bullshit. He knows it. And then he says, we've got to stop this rogue country. And like the word rogue is what he used. And this is telling. This is how you know for a fact that Jim is working for a globalist organization. This is how you know it. Because he said his complaint with Iran is that they're rogue. And I don't know if he understands this, but the United States ought to be freaking rogue. We ought to be acting independently and for our own interest, and not for the interest of his donors over in Israel. We ought to be acting in our own interest. We need to be rogue. And he doesn't get that. But that's his complaint, because, number one, those aren't his talking points. He didn't write it down. He didn't write that. He's reading something they told him to say. Go out and say this, Jim. Go out and say these stupid things. And you know what's so funny is that man is such a slave to his donors. He's such a slave to all this. He can't even say, it's like Sean Ryan said last week, and I say it all the time, these people are addicted to power that they don't even have. They don't even have the power. Jim Banks can't even say what he truly believes. I know Jim. He's not this dumb. He's not dumb enough to believe the stupid things he says. He just came out and talked about how great the economy is.
So why is he saying it then, Jay? Like, I mean,
he wants to sell bombs. He wants to sell bombs.
Exactly. He wants to sell bombs. He wants to be
to us because apparently we're depleted.
No, it's whoever to shoot. Yeah, he wants to make big money for his military-industrial complex donors, and then the construction companies are going to go in there. They donate to him too.
Why do we have Steve Witkoff trying to negotiate this Zionist
and Kushner?
He's making they're making contracts. They're making
Steve
contracts
Witkoff in particular, that's made his fortune in this stuff. Like, why do we have these Kushner, Fink, and Witkoff trying to negotiate wars, trying to negotiate Ukraine? And by the way, why are they trying to negotiate both? Because they are the people. They literally are the people. Jim Banks works for the people. They are the people. And the same people who own the political state of Israel owns the portion of Ukraine that is fighting Russia. We know what's going on here. He wants to sell missiles. He doesn't want to. Let's be clear. Jim Banks doesn't want to sell missiles. Jim Banks wants to please the donors so he can be in the admin in 2028. He wants to be Secretary of State. He wants to be in the next administration, and this is how he does it. That's why he takes every opportunity on every news channel to jump on there and say the most ridiculous shit that there's no way he believes, but he'll say that because he's addicted to this. He's addicted. He doesn't want to go to work. What's he going to do if he comes back to Indiana? Put shingles on a roof?
No, he's gonna endorse Max.
Is he going to pick tomatoes? Is he going to do any of that? Let me tell you a funny story about Max. I've known Max a long time. I actually really, really like Max.
Wait, really?
Well, and I do for this reason. It's not political so much, a little bit, and honestly, people change over lots of years, but here's what I'll say about Max England. I met Max at IUPUI when he was probably 18. He was pretty young. And I met Max at IUPUI. He was one of the college Republicans there. I was 36 years old. I was there as a hobby. I wasn't there trying to, get a new career. Well, I kind of was, because I thought I was going to go to law school. But it turns out I can't stand being in a classroom with a 26-year-old professor who's dumb as a box of rocks. But Max was there, and Max and I, we met there, and he was absolutely hilarious. Definitely rebel spirit. And we had a lot of fun fighting y'all in that first Obama run. It was really fun. This is back like 2007. And so I knew Max from back then. And then Max ended up going to Washington. We stayed in touch a little while. If there was a big vote or something coming down and I wanted to kind of get some sort of insight on it, I'd call Max. And I don't even remember who he worked for when he first got out there as an aide or intern or whatever. And then we just kind of lost track of each other. MySpace. I think we might even been MySpace friends. I'm not really sure. But anyway, so all these years later, this is the funniest thing ever. All these years later, Max comes back to Indiana. And I just happened to see his name is in this U.S. rep race up north. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's my old friend Max. Go Max. Like, I'm going to support Max. I'm like, I don't know anybody in that race that I like. Like I'm rooting for Max because I knew him when he was young. And I just know that whatever he had of that big rebel spirit, it definitely still exists. Washington changes people a lot, but still I'm looking at the people on the ballot and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to support Max. It wasn't my district, but I had lunch with somebody on Banks' team and And I said, yeah, I was telling them this thing. I said, yeah, I think I want to support Max. They laughed in my face, laughed and said, he just worked for McCarthy, the most establishment guy in Washington. He just left there. The only reason he came back here was to run in that race because he doesn't want to leave Washington. It's the only reason. He thinks he's going to pull all these donors out of Washington and win that race. And you're going to support him? Oh, ha, 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 that's hilarious. I can't. Let me call Jim and tell him you said this. He's never going. Oh, this is going to be so funny. Let me text him right now. They were laughing at me because I was going to support Max Engling. Now look at him. Now look at him, because it's in their interest, because they want to recruit Max to be in that globalist team.
Yes.
That's it. And I don't know if Max, wants to be in that, if he's going to be, honestly.
Does he have a choice?
Honestly.
Does he have a choice?
Well, that was my problem. I'm like, Max owes a lot of people a lot of favors, and that's why I wouldn't support him in this thing, because it was just too crooked. When you got Todd Rokita getting a $25,000 donation from Miriam Adelson right about the time he changed his mind. Oh, I'm not going to support Diego. I'm going to support Max now. Like, but you got a $25,000 donation, like, from Miriam Adelson. Like, that is crooked as hell. Like, the same lady who paid Donald Trump $500 million to bomb hundreds of little children in Iran wrote a $25,000 check to Todd Rokita? Come on. This is crooked. This is so nasty. And I want nothing to do with these people. And when I see people like Rokita doing this stuff, these are people, by the way, that as a Republican, I thought, these folks, these are the most conservative guys ever. You ask anybody who's known me in the Republican Party, I would have told you up until just a couple months ago, I would have told you that Todd Rokita is the best conservative there is. That he might be an asshole, but he's our asshole, and every vote is going to be a conservative vote. That's what I would have said. But the minute I see that he's getting checks from these crazy psychopaths like Miriam Adelson, I'm done, because I know right now, if you're taking that $25,000 check, Todd, you're going to do the same thing that Donald Trump does. You're going to be working for her. You're not working for us. You work for her. They're buying you. And of all people, to enslave themselves, to purposely walk right into that. I'm really shocked that Todd Rokita would do that. I'm really shocked.
Jay, is affordability a hoax? Just out of, I mean, do you think Charles kind of had a comment on?
That's a great comment. It's a great comment.
And I mean, do you think that the current administration has any idea what regular people are living like?
I don't think they care. Even if I mean, to answer your question, no, I don't think they know that, because they live in a fantasy world. These people fly around on jet airplanes. They're so detached from normal life. You look at people like Todd Young. I was talking about Todd Young earlier today. Like, if you look at people like Todd Young, that man, I think he made about $100,000 a year before he went to Washington. He's in Washington. This guy is flying around on jet airplanes and eating steak dinners and being catered to in every room that he walks in. You think he's going to come back here and drive a truck for a living? You think he's going to?
Well, they're on recess now, right? Like, aren't they on recess? Shouldn't they both actually be back in Indiana right now?
I think
if they want.
I think somebody said Todd Young was at some event the other day, but regardless, these folks don't want to come back. You think Pete Hegseth is ever going to go back to doing what he was doing? I mean, look at.
I hope to God he goes back to Fox News. I hope he gets fired tomorrow and he just goes back to Fox.
Oh, hell no, he's not going to. Are you kidding me? Look at the money that he's made for these people. Look at
Trump's going to fire him in like
dollars.
I don't know how he's lasted this long. Seriously, I swear to God. He's the most untalented, just asshat.
I know, almost like Kamala Harris.
Yeah. But without the cackle, like his cackle is not nearly as refined.
But look at Colin Powell. Colin Powell did the same thing that Pete Hegseth's doing. He just did it a little more with a little more of a distinguished,
low key
accent. He did it just with a little more. It was just a little more distinguished. But he did exactly the same thing that Pete Hegseth is doing. He died with $60 freaking million. $60 million. He was in the Army. 60 million. Because
good for him, you know.
Because
wise savings and investments.
Because he supported sending missiles up into the air and letting them explode so we could spend trillions of dollars replacing them. And that's why. That's why he died with that. And Pete Hegseth, that's why Pete Hegseth is going to be a multi-millionaire. He will be. As long as he keeps saying, we need to stay in war. We need to be in war. Let's go to war. As long as he does that, he's going to make unbelievable amounts of money. And his family, his tribe, they're all going to live like kings forever. Donald Trump's going to be, a much, much, much greater billionaire. And all of his
this
kids,
is so upsetting right now.
Yes, it is.
You're on a roll right now, but I got to tell you, I'm just.
It's sad.
Choking on my own rage.
Well,
here.
you know what? I'll tell you what makes I can tell you what makes you sad, Brad. What makes you sad is that I know, but I know. I'm telling you, tell me I'm wrong about this when I say
yeah.
You know that I've been a hardcore Republican for a long time, 26 years. Since George W. Bush, I've been a hardcore Republican. I've been an honest conservative for 26 years. All I've wanted out of these people is conservative ideas and conservative moves. I want to see them accomplish our conservative goals, our principal goals. And you know that I've been a fighter for this stuff. And when you see somebody like me saying, I give up, these people are crooked. These people I supported, they're crooked. It's disheartening. And when I see Democrats, and I do know some that have written big checks to the Democrat Party who now join me in the truth, which is the truth. The truth is, you may want gay marriage, I may not want gay marriage, but none of our argument matters if we don't have a government where we can have an honest debate and have a a true constitution. Like, our constitution doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter at all. Like, to me, in my heart right now, I'm an anarchist. I'm back to what I was when Drew and I met 30 some years ago. Can I be really truthful, Drew?
Are you serious? Wait.
Oh yeah. Can I be truthful, Drew? I used to sell Drew weed. When he was
what about?
Yeah, I tattooed for a long time as well, but I knew Drew.
What, you did that tattoo?
Did I do that tattoo?
Yeah, you did. Okay, so you did.
I don't know. I was probably baked or doing a bunch of.
No. This one was just a stencil. I had a drawing. I had a sketch drawing. Yeah. So, and then this was like a cover up of a cover up of a cover up.
Oh,
you didn't do this. You didn't do this one.
I was gonna say it's pretty. Well, anyway,
I did. You did the top one. And
let's get back to you buying a bunch of weed.
Yeah.
No, I had I've known Drew forever. Drew's been this burnt for a long time, but I love Drew very much. He's a big part of our family. He comes to our place for holidays.
The look on his face when that was good.
Sorry. Some people don't. I think some people don't expect. I mean, I'm just honest. I just tell the truth. I don't like to lie. I don't.
No.
There's sometimes where. I don't know. I think it's just important to just tell the truth. I just think it's really important to tell the truth. How do we get our country back? That little picture you got there, Tommy Ice, of that kid, that beautiful kid right there. That kid needs to know the truth. That's the important part. That's how we get our country back, is the young people have to know the truth. They have to hear the truth. The truth is, voting does matter. Even with all this crooked stuff we talked about, they can't cheat enough. If we get all the young people out to vote, they can't cheat enough. They can't cheat enough. They can cheat just a little bit, just enough. And that's all it takes right now, because our country's so divided. It's so evenly divided. It only takes a little bit to cheat. And to cheat just a little bit, you get huge gains, just like with Thomas Massey. It doesn't take much. Well, it took a lot with him, like about $30 million from foreign lobbies. But if we all get the kids to show up. God, Charles, I'd like to talk to you for a long time. Sorry.
Charles is cool.
Charles, I'm sorry. Yeah, Charles, thank you for he's
had a great comment earlier, and I wanted to speak to that. I'm seeing commentary from combat vets who voted for Trump 3 times. and want to see him in peace for prosecuting the conflict in Iran. Absolutely. Oh, I would love to see everybody who has killed these kids in Iran. I'd like to see every single one of them in jail. I'd like to see I'm not talking about our military. Our military men and women, they sign up to serve this country. They're really serving Congress. I know that, you know, and I love them.
Wait, but Congress didn't
so much.
decide any of this, though.
But these people, oh, that's true. That's true, actually, yeah. But they're really serving, and they, you know, they're in a pretty tough position. I don't blame them at all. Who I blame,
yes,
but Donald Trump, of all the horrible things the guy has done, certainly slaughtering innocent children because you got to check for $500 million. Slaughtering innocent children is, you know, and when I hear, I'm a Christian. I'm a very strong and devout Christian. I love the Lord. I got a pretty foul mouth, but I love the Lord, and I'm a very strong Christian. And when I see Christians who are just foaming at the mouth to slaughter people, it blows my mind. I'm like, I have a close personal friend who, I'll be careful what I say, but anyway, he was raised in a Muslim family, and he converted to Christianity. Like, you're not gonna, you don't, as a Christian, I want those children to live. I want them to live their whole lives, and I want to be able to evangelize. I want to be able to bring them to Christ. I want to be able to do that. I don't want to slaughter them. And it's just insane. There's not even been, we haven't even had an apology for that. It is extremely.
You're talking about the school.
Yes. The United States bombed a school with information from Israel, and they slaughtered hundreds of children, little girls. They blew their arms and legs off, threw their torsos on the wall, and their mothers had to walk in there and try to find them, and their fathers had to find them. And no one's apologized for that. And then you see these idiot rednecks and these stupid people who think they're Christians, and they're like, "Oh yeah, do it again."
Well, how do you respond then to Trump when he says things like,
Trump's,
you know, I don't think we'll ever find out, because I think that was his last comment on the elementary school thing, was because
he's just lying.
He was in the Oval Office, and he's like, I just don't think we'll ever know. And I'm like,
that's what they're telling him to say. That's what they're telling him.
It's like, don't
exactly,
we know all of our hits?
Right? I think
all of our direct hits and misses. Don't we all know those? So why wouldn't we know exactly where one of our missiles hits?
Because Donald Trump, honestly, and no offense to the older boomers out there, because I understand. I saw a comment earlier. I understand that not every older person. The majority of my best friends are 20 years older than me, or more. And they're very smart, and they don't buy into this shit. But as a generation, these people believe bullshit. They're easily fooled. Let's just be honest. And Donald Trump is no different than Joe Biden. He's not running this show. He's got a bunch of people around him, very smart people, very bad people, who they know how to play him like a fiddle. They know how to play his ego. Oh, I'm not taking anything off Donald Trump. He's a piece of shit. But
Luke, I agree with your first part.
The Kushners and the Witkoffs and the Finks, they know how to play him like a fiddle, and they do. And so they probably tell him that. They probably say, "Sir, we just don't have enough information right now, blah, blah, blah." And of course, that's what he wants to hear, because he doesn't want to have any accountability. Like I said, he's 81 years old. I dare anybody anywhere to play me some apology from him. Ever. He's been on record half his life. Never heard him apologize for anything. Go ahead, Drew.
I just wanted to mention Trump's three-peat on the Country Club Championship. He says
Drew,
Trump says he shot a 70. Bullshit. That motherfucker didn't break 100.
I know he talk like that.
No, that his swing, watching him shank ball after another, he's worse than me. He's worse than me.
Talk like that on here. I would have been talking like that a long time
ago.
Well,
I mean, golf gets Drew just freaking.
Yeah, man. Look. See,
it gets him intense.
Well, yeah. I hope, Nicole. I hope that with the division that we're talking about, that you're talking about, I hope that we truly are going to see a unified effort by people who have two different ideas in this. We've always had people with different ideas in this country. We certainly have, for a long, long time, we've had Democrats and Republicans in this two-party system who have always had different ideas about how we want to run the country. It's kind of funny because sometimes they go like this. It's so weird how they intersect and pass each other and take one idea from the other over the years. But we've always had that kind of conversation, that kind of argument, even heated argument. But right now, what we have is a government who plants those arguments. They plant this. They want those wedges because as long as they keep us, George Carlin said it best, as long as they keep all of us fighting, they get to cut the world up finer amongst themselves. And that's what they're doing. And we've all been, and I've been very, very guilty of falling for it over the years. I mean, there were times where, gosh, you guys have seen me. I don't have to tell you about it. Like, I've been very, very angry at the left or Democrats and all those things. And those are real issues for me because, like I said, I'm a Christian. I believe babies should get to live their lives. We shouldn't murder babies. I believe that we shouldn't, that a man is a man, a woman is a woman, and that we should defend the sanctity of marriage. I believe these things. These are in my soul, and that's my faith. But as a nation, we don't get to be a nation. We don't even get to have these honest arguments if we aren't in control of this country.
Well, no, we all have to agree to the First Amendment again. I feel like we don't. I feel like all of us are like, well, I like the First Amendment for me, but not for like everybody.
No, I'm a big fan.
I like it for everybody. Yeah.
I just mean I know we do. I'm saying that as a whole, there are people who just don't think other people are on their level almost.
Well, that's a big part of it. Republicans and Democrats both are starting to join together on some of it. Look at the stuff that's happening right now. I just saw a video of Marco Rubio saying that people, like a couple of people from the UK, can't even visit the United States anymore because they've criticized Israel, and now they can't come here. And that's something but you know what? You're not going to see any Democrats in Congress criticize it. You're not going to see any Republicans in Congress criticize it.
Because they're all paid for.
Because if you are a Democrat or Republican in Congress and you're criticizing it, your ass is on the line. You might even end up out of the country, not just out of Congress. This is crazy talk. But we got people who go along with it. Jim Banks hasn't said a damn word about it. Jim Banks is out there talking about immigration like Donald Trump's some genius on immigration. And at the same time, he's complaining about how all the fear we should have about China. Trump is importing 600,000 Chinese students. And they're not going to be out in the tomato fields working. They're not going to be fluffing pillows in hotels. These people are going to be taking high-wage jobs from America. But you know what? You got his stupid-ass followers, and they'll be out there saying, Trump shut down the border. He's doing great on immigration. Did you know that he's importing 600,000 Chinese students? You're lying.
See, this is why I love Jay. It's because, again, if I said any of this stuff, nobody would take any of that shit seriously. But Jay, you're a Republican.
I'm a real Republican.
You are speaking to your people right now.
The party is leaving me because they're going along with all these things. Well, number one thing they're going along with is they've sold themselves out. And there are many, many, many Republicans, elected Republicans, who have no freaking idea what's going on. They have no idea. They're so suckered, and they have no idea what's going on. But Jim Banks and Jim Banks' team, they know what's going on. Don't believe me? Where's one of his top guys right now? In Israel, kissing a wall. Right now, at this very moment.
Well, here, we're gonna have to end it here. Jay, I want to say thank you so much. And again, chat, you guys were hilarious as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ducky, Luke, everybody. Jay, what do you have coming up? What can we get you one last thing is just your prediction for the Secretary of State race in November?
I think Greg Ballard has a really good shot. I'd like to see him. I really like Max, but I'd like to see Greg Ballard win that race. And here's why. There are a lot of things Greg Ballard did financially that I would complain about, but there's something that is absolutely undeniable. undeniable. He's better prepared to be a Secretary of State than anybody who's ran for Secretary of State in a long time. He's better prepared to do it. He's got a he's got a big resume when it comes to that sort of thing, and he's very accomplished. It is undeniable. I hear these people who are so full of shit, and they know better. There has never, ever been a better Indianapolis than it was under Greg Ballard. Never. I lived there. I had a business there. I owned a business there. I catered to people from all over the world. People would come in to my shop from all over the world. I did television shows. We filmed all over Indianapolis. And all these people who would come in from California, from New York, from Japan, from Australia, from all over the place, they'd come into Indianapolis and they would say, wow, this place is incredible. This makes our cities look like a toilet. That's a literal quote from some out-of-towner that came to visit me in Indianapolis. That city was great under Greg Ballard, without question. I don't know Greg Ballard. I don't know if I ever actually met him. I might have shook his hand at some event one time way back and just don't remember. But I don't know him. But I know that he was a very accomplished mayor. He did a great job. His team did a great job. Somebody did a great damn job when he was mayor because Indianapolis was great. Now
things were handled.
And I'm
The
not.
prosecutor did a good job.
I was gonna, damn it, Drew. I was gonna say, I'm like, well, who was prosecutor? Because
Brizzy,
Well,
Carl Brizzy.
yeah. Well, that certainly factors into how good Indianapolis was. But I just think it was a nice city then, and it's what's funny to me is all of these people who are now like trying to talk shit about Ballard, they were all big fans of his. They all loved him back then. They all loved him. They loved him, and they're like, oh yeah. One guy in particular was like, oh yeah, he really did it right. He left. He didn't go snooping around some other thing. Didn't want to do anything else. He did a good job. He knew he did a good job. He won the World Series. He retired. He went home, and everybody loved him. And that was it. And like people liked him because of that. And now that same person is out there just trying to like say whatever they can say because he's on Team Max. And like again, if Max wins, it'd be great. I like Max. Personally, I like Max. I saw Max at the convention.
he's got to do something with the election, though. Jay.
And I told him, I said, Max, I can't support you because you're in with this group of people, particularly this banks, like slaves for the oligarchs group. And it's frightening to people like me because even though that I know you have this rebellious spirit, even though I know you have this conservative rebellious spirit, I know that you owe a lot of people a lot of stuff. That's the problem that I have with Max, because here's the thing, Max, if you're listening, I've seen a lot of people that had a lot of faith in do the same thing you're doing. And every time that I thought they were going to be that same old rebellious spirited person, they failed. The cult got them. And and that's it. So I see Greg Ballard going against the Green. It is a cult. It's absolutely a cult. Of course it's a cult. I mean, they're doing all of these things. They're saying all these things that defy logic and reason, but they still just say them. And they've got this leader that if you don't say that he's the greatest and you don't follow him, then they want your hide. They want your hide. If you don't say, like, it's so
Drew,
amazing.
Can you respond to that, please? Because I can't. Again, I cannot because he's saying everything that's in my head.
No, I mean, everything he's saying is true, and I agree with it.
Now you're in a cult.
Well, wait. So, like, do you guys both have TDS now too? Because I've been very vocal about my TDS.
No, my TDS
so does that
is Trump disappointment syndrome.
Well, call it what you want.
I have another
care,
TDS, but I can't say it. My daughter just entered the room.
Oh, is the colonel? Can the colonel come on and say hello?
Hi.
Come say hi, real quick. I said when I took her to the State House to deal with your psycho protesters, Brad. I said I'd never have her.
They're a rough bunch,
Politics again. Come say hi. Just a real quick hello. You don't have to fix your hair.
My hair's pretty.
Hey, Colonel, how are you?
Hi.
He's,
You're playing some golf now, huh?
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, just let your dad know any clubs that you need, and he'll let me know, and I'll make sure you get them.
Okay.
You'll have to come to the first match.
Right on.
Well, because I'm not going to be in the first match because I'm not going to be in it.
She drove a ball near the 150 mark last week.
Oh, sweet.
Nice. Do those does that driver in 3-wood work for you?
She hasn't used them over there yet, but she's going to. She will be using them tomorrow.
Right on. Well, have fun, Colonel.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, yeah, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and everything. Jay, really appreciate the time, man.
No, it's fun. I love it. Let me know when I can do it. Let me know when I can do it again. Because I'm going to have a lot. Oh, let me ask you something, Brad.
Okay.
Before we go.
Yes.
I feel like you're very much a centrist.
Yeah.
Me?
You're not Brad.
Brad's a centrist. I'm a paleo conservative.
Yeah, well, I just think you're an honest person. I don't think you want to steal from anybody. You know, I don't think.
Good.
I think
yeah.
I think where you differ, the places you differ come from an honest place. I have a very good my friend Kyle. We have fought and just fought for years politically. I love him. He's my friend, my brother. We've known each other since we were little kids, but we've been we've been very on different sides of political issues. And I think where Kyle comes from, for instance, and I can't speak to this for Kyle, but another friend of mine, like for abortion to them, they just don't believe that it's a life. And so if it's not a life, you're not Indian life. And that's kind of where she's totally wrong. And that's,
yeah. And my whole thing is like
the place she comes from is a very, very good place. The people who truly believe what they're saying is going to help people. And those, I hope that those people come together to stop this thing that we know it exists. It's undeniable. And we know that the leaders of these parties, I mean, even at the local levels are involved now. We're seeing this foreign donor money. Banks brought $3 million to Indiana to upset races. Now, let's be real. Trump didn't win these races. In fact, I told somebody the other day, Michelle Davis would have won. She would have beaten Walker over in Bartholomew County and Johnson County. She would have beaten by a much larger margin if Trump wasn't on her signs. The money is what won a lot of these races.
Yeah.
But the money's what won. Greg Walker he did a terrible job the last few sessions. And people were ready for anyone to kick his ass. And it was the money. Where'd the money come from? It came from these Zionist folks that are running the asset manager companies. They're running the war machine, the military industrial complex. They're the ones that are wanting to get the minerals and all the wealth that's in Ukraine, like they've been stripping for years. The same people who own the political state of Israel own that part of Ukraine. But we're seeing this money come into Jim Banks. We're seeing it go out to these reps. And we're even seeing it get involved in the county parties. So we're not even in charge of ourselves. These parties have been bought. And if we don't unify, we're dead. It's meaningless.
No, and that's
one of the facts.
Tommy.
Brad.
Tommy keeps sending me stuff too, man. I love, I'm trying, Well, I like reading every side. Even if I think some sides are wrong, because that's how I can figure out what side is wrong.
Well, I just think that if we have a group of people who are honest about loving America and know that America needs to continue to exist as it has for many years, and if people who love our Constitution and think
you should be proud to be an American. I like that song.
We should be, and I am proud to be an American, but I am so not proud of the job Americans have done defending America. And the people say, well, if you don't like it, you just get on out. No, I plan to kick your freaking ass.
Just move, Jay. It's so easy.
I'm not going to move. I'm going to whip your ass over this country. So, that's how I feel. I'm not leaving. It's the people who are so blind. They're so blind. They're still buying it. They really think Iran is a nuclear threat. they really think so. They really think, they really think that women's basketball got this popular all on its own. You don't think that it got this popular because there's a popular wedge issue? We don't want men in women's sports. Like I fell for that shit.
Yeah.
I fell for that shit.
No, and but that was like a long time coming though. Like that seed was planted very long ago.
Yeah, because you know why? Because when you get Democrats and Republicans agreeing on all of the major stuff, we got to find these new wedge issues. We've got to fight over the. It's
like shit. I didn't even know I was supposed to have a thought about this issue, and now all of a sudden I know about it, so I have to think of something.
Look, if you're a man and you want to swim in a pool against women, we're not going to give you a trophy or a ribbon, but we're going to make fun of you a lot. I don't care. Honestly, I fell for this stuff, and looking back at it, it's like, you got me. You got me to pay attention to this stupid issue that's not even an issue. You got me to pay attention to it, and you got me to stop thinking about this group of people who started all this crap. You got me to stop thinking about the $39 trillion that you've extracted from our nation. You've got me to stop thinking about, look at the money these people have. You look at BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, they're in control of over $30 trillion in assets. You don't think they can buy all these political races if money's what wins? Kids better get their asses out and vote while it still counts. They better get them out.
Elon's going to get back into it. So,
I wish Elon would be the guy that he started out being. I never know where he's at. He bounces all over the damn place. I wish he would.
That's the ketamine, though, is what I've been told.
Well, I wish he would just support the truth. I hope he supports the truth. I hope he's still pissed off that Washington made him look like a fool. I hope he's still mad about it. And I hope that
Who gave him the black eye? Do you still believe the story about his? Do you remember when he had a black eye?
Was it his left eye?
I don't know.
But it was his. He said his son hit him in the face, like in a joking way.
Maybe.
But I heard Scott Bessent or Stephen Miller punched him in the face.
It might be that. I mean, I don't know. Boy, they would be really. It'd be pretty brave to.
That's what AI should be used for, by the way.
Make a multi-grazillionaire, whatever he is now, like punch him in the face. That's pretty tough. But I don't know. I don't think Elon's as. I know some people really, really close to Elon. I don't think he's as weird as what people make him out to be. I don't think he's as weird. I think he's just. I think
it's a sliding scale of weird. I think everyone's weird in our own ways.
Yeah, if Brad thinks something's weird, man, I don't even want to hear about it.
I think Drew's weird. You know what? I know people who just hate Drew's guts over stuff. I don't even know why. And I tell them all the time, like, Drew is not even capable of doing anything because he's too baked, number one, to actually do anything that people should hate his guts about. He's just too fried.
Brad, what are you doing, Brad?
What are you talking about?
It's like being mad at a bunny rabbit. Like,
you can't.
Okay.
Why would you get mad at the bunny rabbit?
What about the Monty Python bunny rabbit? Yeah.
Well, yeah, that thing will bite your head right off.
Well, I hope we truly see unification amongst people who do not agree. We don't agree on all the little issues or even some of the big issues, but I hope people still agree that the United States is the greatest country that has ever been. We're not perfect, but we deserve to continue to exist for future generations. And we have an obligation to fix it for kids and for unborn kids. We have that Brad wants to kill. Well,
I mean, but I think that'll only be in I don't think you guys would be involved in
it. And Brad wants to put porn in libraries.
No, I've always been anti-porn in libraries. But you guys have to actually define what pornography is. You guys can't do it.
Okay.
You guys have to define what pornography is.
If you redefine it, does that change what it is?
I'm not worried about the pornography. It's the child molesting on college campus.
That's one of those wedge issues.
Well, no, but then I think Drew got mad about like the they're like, well, this is just how it looks though. You're skewing it.
For the record, my child has left the room. She's not here for this conversation. This is the kind of stuff why I don't take her to the State House anymore.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. But anyway, we don't get to talk about this if we don't have a country. We just don't have a country.
The concert I'm going to next Sunday.
Drag queen happy hours. If they want to have it at their bar, it's a private place. Go have drag queen. If somebody wants to wear a dress, I don't care. If somebody wants to wear a dress, I just don't want anybody to try to tell me that I have to say that it's normal, because it's not normal. A man wants to be a woman. It has a mental issue. It's a mental problem. And I don't hate them, but I want them to get some help. And I'm certainly not going to pretend that it's normal. It's not normal. And I don't want to normalize it. Why would I want to normalize, somebody's, unstable mind? Like, it shouldn't be normalized. The loving thing to do is want those people to get some help.
Isn't drag kind of like, what is the high school football thing with the powder puff? Like,
no, Brad.
Do you ever see like
Brad?
Well, but don't like the football players dress up like
they're making
stuff like
but they're making
Brad.
fun. They're making fun.
But isn't that drag though? Like,
no.
If I want to dress up like Marilyn Monroe and stick some balloons in my dress for Halloween, that's not the same as me truly pretending I'm a man and wanting everybody to accept, or that I'm a woman, and wanting everybody to accept that I'm a woman. Like, that's totally different. Like, making light of
but that's not what a drag show is it? Like, they come up with like silly ass names, don't they? Like, velvet sauce, or I don't know. Like,
why do they include themselves? Why is it the LGBT? Why do they include themselves with that group? Like, if it's not sexual, then why is it in that group?
I think it's more of like a freedom of thought thing. Like it's just like fucking go do what you want, guys. Like, whatever.
I'm all for doing what you want. Like I said, I think I'm an anarchist at heart. I was when I was a kid. It's the first tattoo I got when I was 14. I got this anarchy tattoo down on my leg when I was a kid. I think I was like 14 years old. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. If the government we have is the only government available, then I'm an anarchist. Then I'm totally against it. If the government we have is the government we were designed to have, which is a reasonable way to debate amongst lots of people to live together as a sovereign nation, with the ultimate goal of making a great, wonderful, peaceful place for everybody to live with freedom and keep the things they've earned, then I'm all for government and I'll fight for government. But the government we have right now, I'm totally against it. I'm anti that, whatever that is. I'm totally against what we have right now. And I think we all in this nation ought to be fighting against it. We should all be fighting against this government. We should be fighting against it. We should get rid of it altogether. And if
a good question here. Yeah, Witty.
Is it this one?
Yes.
I don't know
but would Jay survive a purge day? Yes.
I don't know what.
Yes, he would.
I don't know what purge day is.
Well, okay, so a purge day is like
you've seen the movie.
Murder is legal.
You would.
My wife's looking at me right now like, how do you not know this? What is it?
Yeah, no shit, Jay.
Help me out.
So like murder is legal for one day, for like a
24 the movie The Purge. The
Purge.
Witty.
Witty, let me just tell you this, buddy. I've got some great equipment, and I'm pretty talented.
Well, and so would you go hunting?
I lettered all 4 years in booby trap. I am very well prepared. Anybody that comes near my property they should be very afraid. I mean, my kid could stack up more bodies than most grown men. Yeah, we're ready, buddy.
The Colonel's a hell of a shot.
But you know what? Like I tell everybody all the time, that stuff doesn't even matter anymore, though. It really doesn't. That stuff doesn't even matter, because if you look at the wars that we're seeing right now play out, whether it's in Ukraine or in Iran, what's really winning and losing these wars? It's drones. We're beyond, we're to the point where at the click of a button, and this isn't far-fetched. I mean, drones could come out, recognize your face, and you're gone.
So
and
how come we can't shoot down drones? Like, because
Oh, I will. I can. And I don't care who records it or where this is played. If you fly a drone over my property, it's gone. I have no obligation to try to decide if you're the assessor's office or if you're my neighbor trying to take pictures of my kid. If you fly a drone over
what
my
if you
property,
make a makeshift bomb?
I'm going to fucking shoot it. That's the
Like
bottom
that.
line.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know? Like, I mean, like how you said with warfare now, when you see like the videos out of like Ukraine and Russia and stuff, and it's just like drones flying into buildings and explosions happening, you're like, well,
I don't even have to worry about whether or not they're here to
different?
kill me. Yeah, I don't even have to worry about whether or not they're here to kill me. All I care about is this. I've seen a drone over my property. I wasn't fast enough, or it would have been gone. But I've seen a drone over my property, and the first thing that I thought is, that thing is taking pictures of my family, and you're dead. Your drone is dead, and you better hope I don't find who's flying that drone. If you're flying a drone over my property, I'm shooting it, period. And I don't care what law, anywhere. I don't care. I'll go to prison for however long. You know what? I'd love to see a judge.
What about a plane though?
Prison,
is it the same thing?
On a drone that's taking photographs of a family. I'd love to see a judge actually sentence somebody for doing that. I mean,
but how do you know that they were taking photos with? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I don't know for a fact that they are or they're not. It's not. I have no obligation to figure out what they're doing because we know what they're capable of. Like right now, we have counties all across India, all across the country. They hire these companies to do nothing but fly drones in patterns and find out whether or not you built a fucking chicken coop so they can tax you more. And that's what they do.
Serious?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if they see things like, let's say, a shipping container, which can't be taxed, it's not a permanent structure, and that can't be taxed, but they fly over, let's say they see a shipping container, they add that to your freaking bill, and it's up to you. It's up to you to go argue and say, I don't have a permanent structure, it's a shipping container.
So shouldn't we all just be buying like, grass covered roofing?
Shouldn't
like
these pieces
grass covered? Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on this, Jay.
Shouldn't they be in the state house watching out for me and my kid? Shouldn't they be down there right now saying you can't fly drones where anybody can even see them? Well, I mean, shouldn't they be down there right now saying property taxes are fucking illegal, that people ought to be able to keep the things that they've earned, like Mike Braun said he's going to do in this fucking session? He said it. I was there. It's recorded. There's an actual recording of this meeting. And
they got, they were busy this session.
Well, here's the deal on that stuff. Ryan Miller's got a good bill. I support it 100%. It's not perfect. It's not what I'd like, but it's realistic, and I think they could get it done. And it's eliminating property taxes for homesteads. It's a good place to start. I support it 100%. Mike Braun said he supports that bill. He said he was going to build a coalition all year and get enough people together to make sure we get it done in this session, because in that bill, it uses the 96 fund to fund about maybe $1.1 billion of the locals. And if it doesn't happen this session, this is Braun talking, not me. If we don't get it done this session, someone else is going to want to use that funding, and it'll be enough reason for leadership to say no. And I know that Mike Braun has already been approached by the housing lobbies or the developers lobbies and the bankers, and they said, don't touch it. You're not supporting this shit. He's already been told no, because he ain't the boss. We know this, but he's already been told no. But he's on record. There's an actual recording of that. At least two people recorded that meeting, and he's on record talking about how much he supports it. In fact, he said, if I had only knew this legislation existed, if I had only knew, that's what we would have ran with. That's what we would have supported. Okay, Mike, Governor Braun, you should fire every single person on your team if you didn't know about a bill that already had a freaking hearing. It already had a hearing.
I mean, yeah, but.
And now we got JD Prescott out. He's pushing his legislation. And you know what? It sounds pretty good too. But look, we got a guy in the House and a guy in the Senate who are hardcore working to eliminate property taxes for homesteads or all property tax. I don't think that's realistic, but I think we could probably really get it done for a homestead. I really do. And people are like, well, it's a transfer. You're going to get this tax and that tax. I don't give a shit, because on my house, my property, I don't need anything else. You want to tax the shit out of my car? Don't need it. Got a horse. I don't need you to grow my food. I've got a place to grow food. I don't need them for anything. So tax the shit out of me somewhere else if you want to. But a guy's home, a man's home, that he built a house with his own hands.
You own, like you bought it, like it's
bought it. We don't owe anybody anything.
Yeah,
we've worked our asses off to have what we have, and everybody who has their family home, at least, I'm saying at least, I think everything that someone earns they ought to keep, but at least a man's home where he's built for his family, they shouldn't have to rent that back from the government. It's crazy talk.
Wait, and so can you guys see this one?
Witty. I don't know what you do, buddy. I don't know what you do.
Okay, so
you want to go start knocking people off? I mean, like, I don't know.
Well, no, and so this is what I didn't know if it was about. This was kind of I think it might be back when we were talking about shooting down drones and things like that.
Oh, Whitty, I promise you, buddy, I will fucking shoot a drone down.
Well, I brought this up.
I do a whole lot more than that, dude.
This story about a Thornton man, he shoots at a plane. Or Thorntown. I thought it was Thornton.
No, Thorntown. It's up by where Jay lives or lived.
Oh, okay. Wait.
Holy shit! I might even know who that is. Let's see. No,
so it says a Thorntown man was charged with multiple felonies after he allegedly shot at a plane that was spraying crops near a field where he lived.
Oh, yeah, I did see that. Well, don't spray that shit on his property. You know what? When I was a kid, this is kind of a funny story, kind of like that. Not to change the subject, little ADD.
No, yeah.
When I was a kid, like my whole block was, I grew up with a bunch of Mexicans. All my friends were Mexican growing up. I found out a while back that I'm a Mexican, or a big portion of me is a Mexican. Little portion Sephardic Jew too. So give me my shit, boys.
Hey, there you go, man.
Anyway, I used to go when they would go pick cucumbers and tomatoes. I would go with them, and they're like, "Why are you going with us?" You know, like, well, what am I going to do if I stay home? You're all here, so so we would go and go to the fields and pick tomatoes, and I would try to like get my bushels, and I would give them to whoever the prettiest girl was there, something like that. Well, one time we were out in this field. It was actually on the south side of Indianapolis by Meridian and 465. And I kind of know roughly the area. And we were picking this field. And some of the older guys that were there, here comes this plane. And they start picking up these cucumbers. And I can tell they're like rearing back like this. And the plane's coming. I'm like, what are they doing? Don't do that. Like, they're going to throw them at the plane. And I was like, don't do that. And then the plane comes down and sprayed everybody in that field. And they were doing it just to be an asshole, just a racist dickhead. And they knew that's what was getting ready to happen. And so the next time it came around, I grabbed my freaking cucumber. I was ready to go.
So there might have been, this might have not been like an isolated incident, is what you might be saying.
No, they were spraying them everywhere because they were Mexican, I'm sure. And they were spraying them just to be assholes. I mean, that's just who they were. So, the next time they came around, I was like, I had a big sign. I was like, scoot over, I'm white. No, I didn't. Jesus. But for real though, I mean, I saw that, I witnessed that, and that was just terrible, terrible stuff.
Well, and so, but in a way that people can feel threatened by like a crop dusting plane, or like,
Well, you know what? I'm going to guess there's probably a lot of stuff that led up to this, a lot of agricultural stuff, because there's a lot of things going on right now with like Monsanto and just different like rights, genetic rights, and to different biological stuff in the corn. Like there's all these big fights that are going. And honestly, I don't know enough to talk about it in any technical way, other than the fact that I know that small farms get screwed because they get some sort of like blowover crossbreeding stuff happening. Oh my God.
And get sued for it.
And they get sued for it and they lose their farms. And, I've heard some stories about stuff like that. So I don't know what this guy was going through, but I'm not going to say that, that I'm not going to cuss this guy out. We don't know what his situation was. Maybe he's already told these people a million times, don't spray that crap on my field. I don't want my family eating that poison. I don't want my family eating something that I don't know what it is. And maybe he's dealt with that enough times that he's just saying, and he may take it as a very serious threat to his family's health. And I can tell you now, if somebody's a serious threat to my family's health, you know, there may
He needs to get Guy Relford. He needs to get Guy Relford as an attorney.
Yeah, well,
I bet he could get him out of this.
I don't know. I don't know.
Shooting into planes a federal offense, though. I mean,
yeah,
I can see both sides. I can totally see both sides, man.
I'm not
Totally.
just.
How's it
And
different
by the way,
than
people
with
like
the drone?
Jay saying people should shoot at planes. Like, no, I don't.
No. You didn't say you didn't say that.
Jay. Jeez,
Yeah,
man.
no, I don't think so. But I'm saying that there is a point. I promise you, there's a point in my life where I would definitely shoot at planes. Like if you were threatening my family, if you were spraying poison on food that I was growing for my family on my land that I earned, and you wouldn't stop doing it after I told you don't do that.
There's reasons. There's reasons that where I could see it was justified. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe the plane was shooting at him. I don't know. Just saying.
No,
I like to listen to the facts. When I tell Democrats that, I want to do the same thing myself. It's always funny to me when Republicans do this crap. They've been bitching about it for years. And just like, the protester, the guy that got shot up there in was he in Milwaukee? Where was he?
Alex Preddy.
Oh, in Minnesota?
I feel bad that
Yes.
I've already forgotten his name, but Minnesota, I think it was. Yeah, it was Minnesota. The guy that got shot up there.
Alex Preddy.
That was a murder, period. But you got all these guys that are coming out saying, he shouldn't have been there. Or they're showing of him earlier. Like, it's this situation right here. The man had a gun in his waistband that was perfectly legal for him to have. They grabbed the dude, they threw him down on the ground. He was on his hands and knees, and they shot a dude who had a gun in his waistband. That's murder.
He wasn't grabbing for it.
But you know what? I got Republican friends who'll be like, he shouldn't have been protesting, or he shouldn't have been this, or he should have been that. I'm like, you're a fucking hillbilly idiot. I mean, just read the fucking Constitution and just stick to it. And it's always funny to me. I don't care if it's someone on the left or someone on the right. You can tell you've never actually read the Constitution. I mean, and they worship it's always these people who worship Trump. And Trump couldn't have an intellectual conversation about the Constitution or the Bible to save his life. He couldn't have. The man has never read either one. Never. He
sold a bunch of them, though.
I would love to sit down with Donald Trump and just ask him questions about the Bible. Ask him questions about Christ and his faith. Ask him questions about Paul and the crucifixion, and I'd like the resurrection. I'd like to ask him questions about it. I'd like to ask him questions about our rights and where they come from and the life of people like Adams or Jefferson or anybody in our history, because there's no way that man knows a damn thing. He doesn't understand the Constitution.
But do you think it'll stop him from answering?
Yeah,
no.
I see him freeze up on that stuff. Yeah,
no,
he tries.
Like
he'll say.
He'll come up with something. He'll come up with something.
Here's what he would say. You'd say, Trump, can you explain why Christ came Earth, where he came from, whatever? He'll say, Jesus was a good man. He was a good man. He would not want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. Jesus was a good man. Jesus was a Jew, you know.
He would want us to protect Israel.
His favorite verse is 2 Corinthians.
Yeah, no, when he said that out loud, I remember that.
Yeah. He said a lot of stupid shit. But, I mean, honestly, I've never thought Donald Trump was incredibly smart. I just thought that I thought Donald Trump was the thing. And this is how we can't be fooled by another person doing this. I thought Donald Trump was the thing that we really need right now. That we really need. Tommy, I feel like you and I need to get Brad off somewhere, have a chat.
See, like, yeah, I'm
because I care about your salvation. That's why.
No,
Not
I know.
because of
I think
just-
the only Bible verse I really know is the one from Pulp Fiction. So, the one that Hegseth quoted in his military speech. It's all canon now. Never mind. I was about to feel ashamed.
You know
about
what's
that,
funny?
but-
Yeah, you know what's funny about that whole thing with like Pete Hegseth? Like, God, has he not turned out to be just like a stupid supermodel?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a dumb supermodel. I believe, again, there are these people I believed in, and I still, there are people that were in the admin. I'd say I trust Tulsi Gabbard. I do. I think she's
not in the admin anymore. She quit.
No, I know that, but I trust
Oh.
her. I mean, I certainly trust Joe Kent. I trust RFK Jr. I do. I think RFK Jr. I got a note from a person I know in Washington who works very closely with the admin. And basically it said that, your choices when you get to Washington, you can either choose to take the Thomas Massey route and just say, expose truth, expose truth, expose truth. But especially when you're in an admin situation where you can just, you don't need to convince the voters. You don't need $30 million in an election. You can just say, you're done, go home. And by the way, shut your mouth or we'll send the same people after you that got all the other people. So if a guy like RFK Jr., I think he's taking the other route, which is, okay, I made it here. At least I can cut some deals to do a little good, which is better than no good at all. And I think that's RFK Jr. I think he's doing a little good rather than no good at all. And
for Steak and Shake, definitely. Like, I think they're really feeling like the weight of the office behind them, which is great. It's great for everybody. The chili's back, so I'm happy.
I haven't been to Steak and Shake in a long time.
You like that? You like that three-way, Brad?
They don't have waiters and waitresses anymore. Like, they don't have servers.
Everything's right up at a kiosk, and you only get one
dude,
soda.
Jay,
to be fair, the last times I used to go to Steak and Shake, the people who worked there were absolute idiots. So I'm not, when I go to a restaurant that has has a very competent staff and you get exactly what you ordered and it's hot and it's right here, right now. Like we were In-N-Out the other day and like had this great experience of like getting exactly what we ordered from people who were intelligent, smiling. We were in Flagstaff, actually.
Okay. I heard we were getting some here though.
Nashville.
Do we have
Tennessee.
one yet?
Nashville, Tennessee is. But anyway, it's not. I'm not saying that like I don't know if every In-N-Out is that way. That's certainly not my experience at every In-N-Out that I've ever been to. But I would say most. I mean, service across the United States is horrible. It's just awful. It's just absolutely terrible. I was in Louisville this weekend. The Hot Rod Nationals was in Louisville this weekend. I was down there, and I went in, and the girl working there. So I just came back from this big. Our family went on this big trip, did a lot of Route 66 out west and back, and seeing all these old great service stations and places like Tucumcari, Arizona, or New Mexico rather, and all these service stations all lined up. These old, service stations from the 50s, 40s, 30s, even some places. And those places all competed with each other. They had to be nice. They had to be good at what they did. Now we got all these places and they have no sort of pride whatsoever in the companies they work for, mainly because the company probably treats them like shit and pays them nothing. But I sound like a Democrat, dude. But
yeah, I mean, Jay, I gotta say, man, like the amount of things that you've said, again, that I want to say but couldn't. Like you were going off about the Alex Preddy thing. I know so many people who were just railing that. Like, oh well, he's an idiot. He shouldn't have been doing that, or he had a gun there.
I was very strongly defending him. Yeah, I was.
And I feel like it's white noise when it comes from the left.
Yeah, I immediately defended that guy and said, I mean, all I needed to see was a gun in his waistband that was removed by another officer, and then the guy was shot to death. Like, that's all I needed to see. And that's all anybody should have needed to see to say, this is fucking wrong. And and I'm not saying hang all these guys or whatever. I'm saying our government murdered a guy who was not breaking the law at all. Like,
Yeah, like that's when you
he
break it
murdered a
down
guy who was on
into
his
that
hands and knees
sentence.
who had every opportunity to pull his weapon and didn't, you know? But then there's people on the left that like talk about like DC, it was an insurrection. The people who were there at home had tons and tons and tons of firearms, tons of ammunition. Why didn't they have it with them if they planned on it being an insurrection? It wasn't, there was none of that. The government agencies were there. They knew they could coax some people into getting going. They set that thing up. I mean, I could do it.
What do you think its legacy would have been if there were no violence that day? Like if say everybody just stopped when they got to
What do you think his legacy? You're saying
because I feel like the day would have a very positive legacy, like for the right and for Trump, if it just stopped at the barricades and surrounded the Pentagon in like protest or at a rally to say what they want to say to the people's house,
Here's what I think truly happened. I think this is truly where Trump is right now. I think that Trump knew that this organization, and some people want to, this organization that we all know exists. Some people,
sorry, that was, I had to show that one. And then
I think Trump knew that they had gotten him before the election, before November. I think he knew he was had. He tried to deal with them because he wanted to stay in the White House. I think he was naive to how powerful they really were or how prepared they were going to become to make sure that he was not going to stick around. He wouldn't be there anymore. And I think once he realized that, I think he gained respect for them because they punked him. And so I think he said, okay, I'll work with you guys. And I think before 24, I think he kept his MAGA base going because he needed that in order to deal with that organization. He needed to have all this support still there because he needed that to prove to the organization, look, I've got this big chunk of people behind me, and you're going to have to fight them to win in the next race. And so when 24 came around, and I was over in Iowa working for Vivek, I felt it when I was there. There were people there on other teams even, but we all kind of felt the organization, as I will call it, they did not want Trump. They wanted to test the waters with Nikki Haley and see if they could get Haley in there. Haley was their choice. I think Haley was their clear choice. And I think they realized it wasn't working. And I think definitely guys like Vivek was so exciting over in Iowa. It stole a bunch of excitement away from like what they wanted Nikki Haley to have. They weren't ready for Vivek to kind of be an exciting guy. And so I think they knew they couldn't get across the finish line with Haley. And I think Trump said, look, guys, you don't have to fight MAGA. I'll give you what you want. Put me back in the White House. All these people that follow me, they're fucking dumb. They'll follow me. You won't have to fight them. It's just true. I'll give you MAGA. I'll go back to the White House. I'll sign all your fucking bills. I'll give you all your money. I'll shoot your missiles. I'll make more missiles. I'll give you whatever it is you want. Just let me be recorded in history as being the guy they think I am now. So when I get there, let me pardon, all these people from J6. They'll really think I'm doing something great for them if I do stuff like that. Of course, that's rather meaningless because I'm getting ready to give you trillions of dollars. So what he got cost them nothing. It cost the organization $0 to pardon all those people. $0. They lost not one penny. Larry Fink didn't care. Steve Witkoff didn't care. Jared Kushner didn't care. Didn't care.
No, why wouldn't they?
We don't care. What we need you to do is to send more money, more weapons to Ukraine. We need you to go to Venezuela and steal their shit. We need you to steal a bunch of people's shit and give us natural resources.
Where is that money, anyways? Where's the money from Venezuela?
Pretty sure Israel has it.
Like, Trump couldn't answer that. He said it just went back in. Trump said it just it goes back in.
How'd it go back in if Israel's got a bunch of the oil?
I mean, that was a Trump answer. That's what he gets away with.
Exactly. He does get away with that, and nobody like Jim Banks is going to ask him anything about that. We could ask Jim Banks, but he keeps canceling on the places he says he's going to be.
Well, absolutely. He'll send donuts though.
Well, and what? He should be canceling on those things because he knows as well as I know he has no intelligent answer for any of this stuff. He has no intelligent answer. It's like, Jim, why every opportunity you get, you come out and you suck Trump's butt and you say Trump's the greatest thing ever. He's doing the greatest stuff. He's such a great president. Our country's never been better. And then you turn around and you, at the same mouth, you turn around to somebody else and say, China is a major threat. Like, if China is a major threat, then why aren't you saying anything about Trump bringing 600,000 Chinese students in? Like,
Jay, I gotta say, you really need to reach out to some Democrats and for some speaking engagements. I think you could warm up a crowd so well just by saying everything that you say about,
It's our government. I mean, we all should be unified in that. I am never going to be unified with the idea that we should murder babies. I'm never going to be unified with the idea that men are women or women are men. I'm never going to be unified with the idea that you should take things from me and give them to someone who hasn't earned them. I'm never going to be unified with some of those ideas that Democrats have.
No, but you can trash the same stuff we do.
But the thing that we should be unified on is that our government has been hijacked by a foreign organization that wants to enslave us. And all the AI, all the data centers, all this crap, it's because young people are catching on. They know. Young people know that this, again, call it Zionist movement, call it asset managers, call it whatever you want to call it, but foreign lobby. What we do know is that there's an amount of people that's probably small enough that could fit in my house are running the whole world outside of North Korea, China, Iran, Russia. They're running everything else. They either own it, control it, have everybody somewhere scared to death, but they're running it. And we should all be unified in saying, this is unacceptable. We want our nation. We want to keep our nation. We want to continue being able to have a debate on whether or not the 10 Commandments should be on the courthouse lawn, whether or not we should have prayer in school, whether or not we should be murdering babies. We should, if we want to have that conversation, we better start saving our country and getting these people out, because they love that we're fighting. They love it. And I'm not going to give them that.
They find new ways. Well,
that's right.
It's very easy to find new ways too.
That's right, Duck.
And Ducky, yeah.
That's absolutely right. It is easy to control people who are always in survival mode. When you've got mothers and fathers working 2 jobs to try to cover, their family and feed their families, they don't have time. You know how many times I've sat at a doorstep, I knock on a door and I want to share some information with someone behind the door when I'm out knocking doors and say, do you understand tax increment finance? Can I explain this very nerdy thing to you in a short period of time so you know you're getting screwed by the candidate or by the politician that you think is so good? Please, can I explain this to you? And they're like, I got to go to work, dude. About 5 minutes.
You got to make it entertaining, Jay. Or I think what Trump did. Trump made the whole idea of politics more entertaining.
Jay, you need a show, man.
People always get mad at me because I get, you fly off the handle. You would be a lot better, Jay, if you didn't cuss. And you know what? I made a post about that a while back. I said, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like, people said that if I didn't have a foul mouth, that I could do better. I'm like, I already tried that, motherfucker. I already tried that. Fuck off. I've already tried that. That's what I tried that. Yeah. Look, I tried.
It doesn't work.
I tried to put the suit on. I tried to go do the thing. I really tried. I truly did. It's not because I wanted to be a part of a team or a gang. The team that I want to be a part of was the people who want to tell the truth. People who want to tell the truth. You know, it started out that I thought I could maybe help a small area of people and say, hey, listen, you keep voting for the same people and your taxes keep going way up and your streets get more violent and the drug use gets even higher and the education gets worse and you're competing with more impoverished people for low paying jobs. Like, if you stop and if you try to understand what's happening in your community, if you try to understand what's happening with tax increment finance, with abatements, if you start to understand how these companies get to your counties or your cities, who sends them there, who's backing those people, you know, if you understand that Eric Holcomb is sending a corporate out of state corporation into your county to absorb, you know, to get to live free, you know, and tax you to cover it. And then that the person who's voting for that into your community, they're getting a donation from Eric Holcomb's people. And these people are donating to Eric Holcomb. If you guys would
that's bringing business to the people of Indiana, though, right?
Oh, yeah, clearly Greenwood is doing so wonderful. It's amazing just how clean the streets are. It's amazing. You know, the murder rate's only gone up like, I think 8 times in the last 3 years. I think it's only grown like, you know, a bazillion %. Like, it's so awful. Like they you know what? They just threw another wheel tax into Greenwood. If Greenwood's doing so good, if they're paying the bills, if these TIF plans, if they're all covering themselves, then why do you need more money? Yep. It's doing so good. You're attracting so much talent, Greenwood.
Wait, Drew, what was the video that you sent?
I have to interrupt you. We're going on 2.5 hours. I have to go to bed. But I sent you a video. The video I sent you.
There's a word for that, Drew.
A word for what?
There's a word for having to get to bed.
Anyway, do you have a volume on this?
Do you want it louder?
I can't hear it, man.
Wait, Jake, can you hear it? Jake, can you hear that?
Oh, I hear it very loud, yeah.
And Drew, you said you cannot hear it?
That's because Drew is freaking baked out of his damn mind.
Like, everybody can hear this, right? Like, just...
I hear it. Drew's fried right now. I guarantee it.
See, I want to take a screen. I'm taking a screenshot of this.
How much weed did you eat tonight? Drew, how much weed have you eaten tonight?
Eaten?
He eats it, smokes it, sticks it under his toenails.
Yeah, see? I've never tried that. That sounds intense.
I guarantee he puts it in his eyes.
Oh, like THC eye drops, maybe?
Yeah, I'm sure he shoves little.
Well, Jay, I'm going to Colorado next week, and so I won't be on. And we'll wrap it up because Drew's also going to be.
Because you're going to be.
Well, and see, like right now, like Drew's saying that he can't hear me, right?
He's so.
Drew, can you hear me? You can't hear me, huh?
I wish I knew. I wish I knew ASL.
No. Well, everybody tune in. Yeah, we'll end it here though, because you know.
All right, I had fun, guys.
No, Jay, thank you so much. Yeah, dude, I really appreciate you coming on.
It's a good release.
It's very nice talking to somebody who, like, you know, you do want to see like a middle ground. You do want to see just like, I'd rather start agreeing on stuff together and moving forward. I'm tired of all that. We're losing
our country. We're losing our country. And it's sad to see that this group of like rednecks, like, and that don't realize it, and the group of weirdos, you know, on the left, like,
the extremes.
These people that are still screaming about this bullshit. It doesn't matter if we don't have a fucking country. It doesn't matter. We need to have a country so we can continue to debate. But right now, our debates don't matter.
Well, and we're going to end it here with Luke's word of wisdom, because this is the funniest
thing. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. Hey, we can hear you now, Drew. What happened? It's like, whoa.
His gummy bears just kicked in.
All right. Well, everybody take it
I
easy.
can't hear anything.
We'll see you guys next week. All right. Thanks a lot, Jay.
See you guys.
See you.